All right. Oh, damn it. Ah, well, fuck it. Let's see here. Let's see. That, headshot, that. Okay. TikTok's successfully connected. Let's go. Let's freaking go. Connected TikTok. Oh, TikTok chat. Okay, that makes sense. All right. Let me see. Let me go ahead and push some buttons here. I did. Oh wait, no. I gotta do that one first. Good. 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 Where is it? Burn. There we go. Okay. All right. Bam. Bing, bang, boom. What up? How's it going, everybody? It's me, the boy, the left behind man. Not left behind. Fucking. I don't know. I'm just being ridiculous. How's it going? What's up? Good morning. We are in early stream weekend. This is going to be a busy weekend for the locals. So I figured we'd just hop in and just enjoy a little bit of early gaming time, a little bit of chillness. Man. I opened up YouTube and saw a fucking Moist Critical from video posted 55 seconds ago with 0 views, which is like, yeah, that fucking somebody. Can you imagine people who are like fucking like post sniping, you know, like just waiting on somebody's channel for them to upload? Like, I can't imagine that there's not some people that do that, but like still it's like, whoa. Let me get rid of this, let me get rid of that. Okay, cool. Good. All right. Let's check this. That's good. Good. Yeah, that's good. Okay. All right, cool. Fantastic. All right. Let's see what's in the atomic shop real quick, because I got some free stuff. Let's pick up the free stuff. Let's grab the free stuff. Let me grab these real quick. Mr. Fuzzy Mascot outfit. What? Just get a free creepy dude head or outfit. Braxo Power Armor Paint. Let's go. Yeah, that. All right. Mr. Peoples. We got that. I don't think that was free. I think that was a paid thing, but I got so many atoms I'm not using. Okay, cool. All right. So yeah, this is kind of something I've been wanting to do for like a while at this point. It's just like, cause I can't remember actually if the character that I'm playing on now, yeah, Toshi. I can't remember if the character that I'm playing on now is like is my original character. I also don't know why the pictures never properly work. The photo gallery. Oh, I'd probably have to take like a new one. Actually, you know what? That's probably why it's actually not working. Ooh, I'm on the wrong window on the vertical. Blue. Stand by. There we go. All right, cool, fantastic. Dope. Sick. But yeah, I can't remember if the character that I'm playing on now is the one that I like originally made for the game, like when it first dropped. I can't remember if this is one that I made later, or, you know, excuse me, sorry, I just ate too. I can't remember if this is an original my original character, or if it's a character that I made not like later, but like, you know, like maybe within like the first like 3 months after the game came out, right? I can't remember if this is, you know, which one this is. But the point is, it has been so long, like so fucking long since I started like a new character in this game, since I started the game as a newbie, right? And I think that's one of the, because it's interesting with a lot of other Fallout games, like I guess maybe like specifically Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, where it's like, because there's the difference between like the build focused games and then the non-build focused games, right? In Fallout 76, I would argue that in Fallout 76 specifically, it's not really like a actually, I would argue that it is a build-centric game, but it's done a little bit differently, so it doesn't really feel like it, you know? In like Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, there's builds, right? There's specific ways that you can design your character to experience the game in a specific way, right? When it comes to Fallout 76, it's the same, but it doesn't feel the same because it's not like a stat system. It's using like perk card loadouts. It feels a little bit more, what is it? What would it be? It feels a little bit more, there's like a specific genre of game. Like, I guess, like, it's not exactly, but it's sort of like games a little bit more akin to like XCOM, where there's a, what is it? Where there's like specific ways that you design your, I don't know what I'm talking about. The point is, with games like Fallout 4, there's not really like there's not a level cap, so you can just go and go and go and get every perk, so it becomes redundant to make a build. So in when it comes to the replayability of those games, right? The replayability is inherently built into the fact that there are different builds that you can achieve. In Fallout 76 specifically, because you're able to sort of swap between different builds like on the fly, there's not as much incentive to start a new game, specifically because, you know, if you continue along the story and you play the game long enough, you sort of experience everything as, you know, it happens, as opposed to experiencing everything from like the perspective of a new character. There's no real incentive to start a new character. But I would argue, and I think it's pretty obvious, that the experience you get from playing the game as like a newbie when the game like first launched compared to playing the game as like a newbie today is vastly different. I think that kind of goes without saying. But it's one of those things where it's like, it's been so long since I started a new game. I'm kind of interested to see how the game actually plays now as like a brand new character, compared to how it did, you know, when the game first launched back in 2018. I think it'd be hard to do a side-by-side comparison, but I think it would be interesting and fun. Make a baddie, hell yeah. I was actually going to ask you guys, like, you know, make it sort of like a chat dictated thing, like, you know, oh, what should our character look like? Who should our character be? And then like what sort of like loadout we should go with, right? Because that was one of the things I was trying to get at there. There's different builds that you can do in Fallout 76, but it doesn't feel as permanent because, you know, it's interchangeable. You can swap in and out of them. But when it comes to, you know, what our primary focus should be in those like early days, you know, like, you know, let's focus on that, right? Let's do that. Let's figure that out. Or at least, you know, you guys do it so I can shift blame when I'm like, God, this build sucks. Let's see. I can make my bow do a 5 and then a bunch of zeros damage. But can still smash the mutants with my sledgehammer. It's not limiting. I mean, like, the limiting aspect I was talking about specifically with Fallout 4. It's not so much that it's limiting, but it's structured, right? Because like again, Fallout New Vegas, for example, because Fallout New Vegas has like a level cap. There's only so many perks that you can get, and there's only so many skill points that you can achieve, and it's limiting in that way specifically because it's designed for you to focus on a specific build, right? You can grab just random, random perks here and there when leveling up, but it's not like the most intrinsic thing, right? It's not the best thing. A new Appalachian Dweller. Oh no, I've been as you can see, I've been at this for quite a while, which is actually kind of funny to say with a level 347 character after the game has been out for like what, 8 years, something like that. Leatherfruit, thank you for the follow. Thank you for the follow on Tickety Talk. But yeah, my point is, we're gonna jump into a new game because I want to see what the game is like as a new player in 2026. And then as far as like what the build is, what sort of character we have, this, that, and the other thing. I want it to be more so like, you know, like you guys have a stronger input, because if it was me, I would just go back to fucking I would just do what my main character is focused in, and that's heavy builds or heavy weapons, because like God, the flamer goes hard. Like you get the right flamer weapon, and it's crazy. It goes crazy. Okay, so I guess we would do new. How interesting. I started playing a month or two ago, so I just went through the newbie experience. Hell yeah. Yeah. I went through it like when the game launched, right? I was an early adapter. I was an early investor, if you will. And it's like, I don't know, the game was still sort of like, you know, a little jank when I first played it, but I didn't see nearly the amount of like bugs and stuff that other people did. Also, I know I'm still on the home screen here. I'll swap out to the game specific in a minute here. But yeah, I didn't experience it, but like it definitely was there. Like it was pretty jank when it first started. But as it is in 2026, because it's just gotten like better and better, you know, and in more so as it relates to our streaming stuff, because Fallout 4 is still, actually it's mostly because like the address library needs to get updated for Fallout 4 so we can get back in and start doing like more modding stuff for the game. You know, well, like this is something I've been wanting to do for a while, like get in and experience the game as a new player in this new era, after the game got all these, you know, updates and tweaks and balancing stuff, and see how it is for the like new people coming in, you know, the people who were influenced and inspired by, you know, like the TV show and the anniversary edition, and you know, all this talk and hype about a remake and a remaster and stuff. It's cool to see millennials like you still playing Fallout 76. I love it. I'm a big fan. It's one of those things, because like it's still not my most favorite. I would say that my most favorite Fallout game is still Fallout 4. Specifically from a technical standpoint, I think that gameplay-wise, Fallout 4 is objectively the best. New Vegas has some aspect. New Vegas specifically, because 3 is also. It's one of those things that I always ends up coming up whenever we talk about Fallout. Fallout 3 is still the most like perfect encapsulation of just like the tone of Fallout, right? I feel New Vegas is sort of the same, but a little bit more goofy, a little bit more lighthearted. For the most part, it definitely does have its stronger moments, and its narrative definitely sells those stronger, more quote-unquote darker moments. But overall, tone-wise, as far as the world goes, Fallout 3 is just objectively the best when it comes to atmosphere and world design. New Vegas has the best storytelling, and then Fallout 4 is the best, like, Fallout game, right? The gameplay in Fallout 4 is the best. Fallout 76 I see as a what is it? As a refinement, a honing of what made Fallout 4 technically, you know, on a God, excuse me, on the technical level, quote unquote, the best. But it's still like not really my favorite. There's a lot of onlineification, right? A lot of multiplayerification when it comes to the game itself. I'm not a big fan of the way the legendary, or not the legendary. Oh yeah, the legendary system with like the weapons and armor. I'm not a big fan of the way that works. Some of the like event focused stuff, because it is, you know, it is an online multiplayer game. So, you know, social activities are sort of like, you know, intrinsically a bigger part of the experience. I'm not the biggest fan of them, but I can see why they exist in the multiplayer sense. But a lot of the other, again, like technical things, are just objectively better. I feel like the navigation when it comes to the Pip-Boy is a lot smoother. The user interface, the way it like functions, I feel as if it's just way better than Fallout 4. Not traversal, but more so like the world, the map design rather. The Fallout 76 objectively has like the best map space, like the best world, right? Lighting it's not like the greatest, but compared to like Fallout 4, it's definitely like a massive improvement. Again, I could go off and just like talk technical about how 76 is, you know, better than all the other games, but I mean, it's nobody really thinks about like the technical aspect. Nobody's playing a game specifically for like, oh, the lighting engine's like amazing, or like the like the duck and cover system is revolutionary. I can't remember the name of the game, but there was one game during the Summer Games Fest that looks good. I can't lie, it looks real clean. But they're all talking about like, oh, we have like this duck and cover system where the character will like dynamically move based on like the, you know, the cover she's trying to hide behind, and like, you know, like what enemy's line of sight is and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, cool, but like, you know, like fucking Gears of War and Hitman did that like fucking 10 years ago. You're not reinventing the wheel here. You're just kind of, you know, putting a little extra polish on it. And like, you know, that's just how that's how innovation works. It's the small things that are like, oh, it's a big new change and stuff like that. And like, you know, it is what it is. But as far as like the gameplay itself, the technical aspect of it, Fallout 76 is the best, but it's still like not really my favorite. Okay. Let me see here. What do we got for I gotta get reacquainted with the default characters, because I don't know if we want to do like anything, you know, anything crazy with how we look, like make a specific looking character. What do you guys think though? Should we go for something like ridiculous? Because somebody said before, like, make a baddie, like, should we play as a girl? Oh, I actually kind of like this, kind of like her build here going here. But you know, I don't know if it really matters too much. I think because it's kind of the not the downside, but just the intrinsic nature of Bethesda games being a first person focused third person game. You know, we're gonna make a character and then like literally never see them again, right? Except for maybe like certain situations, because there's no like cutscenes or what is it? There's no cutscenes or like dynamic camera angles like there are in Fallout 4, right? So we're not going to see our character unless we deliberately look at them. I think I'll probably play as a male character. Let's just go with like one of the defaults. Probably. Man bun. I guess. What do the female characters look like? I mean, mine a homunculus. I feel like that because that's always the no, wrong one. That's always like the dichotomy. It's you know, oh, am I gonna make my my character look like, you know, the most like, you know, picturesque, photo realistic looking thing in the world. A lot of the eyes are very similar on the female characters for some reason. Maybe I'm just hyper focusing on something because I'm crashing. But it's either like we're gonna make this character look like, you know, the most like beautiful, picturesque thing in the world, or we're gonna make them like just an absolute abomination. Like I remember, where's the there we go. I remember I don't think it was like any character specifically, but I remember one of the things that I would do in Fallout 4, when I'm like, oh, I'm gonna make like, you know, not like an evil aligned character, but more of like a raider-y kind of type, is like I would just apply like every single damage like scar and like bruise that I could on the character, and then their face would just look like absolute like ground beef, and I'm like, ah, yeah, now we're talking. Oh god. I mean, how much did you do that? My initial character accidentally looked like Eminem. Accidentally, that's funny. And once it was pointed out to me, I had to change it. You had to change it. You changed it? You know what? I could see that. Eminem sort of is the more like, I don't even know. He has a very like specific look about him that I feel like is very like ingrained of like a certain kind of individual, right? You know, sort of like the not specifically like white trash, but a lot of like, you know, poor like what is it? You know, poor white guy. Baddie, not baldy. Fair. I was a Fallout 4 guy. Fallout 4 is pretty good. Let's see. How's Fallout 76? I shamefully played it once for less than 10 minutes. Well, you didn't get very far if you only played for 10 minutes, especially since character creation takes 3 hours. But like, this isn't my first time playing it. I've been playing it since drop. There was a couple times where we got an ad starting here pretty soon on Twitch. If you guys on Twitch want to see less ads, consider becoming a member. Sometimes the ad's a little like lightning fat. Yeah, there it is. But yeah, this isn't my first character. I've been playing it for like ever since launch. Sometimes I, you know, kind of, you know, I'm gonna set it down for a while. I don't want to play this for a while. And like, you know, that's online games specifically. That's just kind of how it goes. But like, I'm a big fan. It's definitely not, because I think especially with Fallout, a lot of people come in for like a single player experience, which is fine. There's an argument on whether or not that's like the most ideal, and I don't think there's a wrong answer. But I think it's fun. I think it's good. I think that it is a lot more. Excuse me. It is a lot more socially focused. Which, I mean, it's an online game, so like obviously would be more socially focused. Overall, I think it's good. I don't think it does anything like intrinsically wrong. I think it just sort of, it feels like it's not accurate because it sort of has to conform to, like I said, you know, online functionality, right? It has to be an online game, so a lot of the things feel a lot more artificial and antithetical to Fallout's world. You know, like you know, like the way the legendaries work, or like certain events feeling more gimmicky than would probably be than most people would think to be acceptable. First character was normal, the rest were most disgusting things ever. Hell yeah. I jumped fast through character creation. I was just like baby because I couldn't loot bod. That's fair. I want to give it a second chance nowadays, but my buddies don't want to play. And like that's also one of the aspects of Fallout 76 that I think is like the most ideal. If you can find like some friends to play with, it's like the most it's one of the most fun. Specifically because it's tailored to that social aspect. But like I don't know, I feel like subjectively it's a good game. As a single player experience. Some people are going to like it, some people aren't going to like it. And you know, I don't think there's a wrong answer there. It's just sort of like how you you know, how you value the experience in a sense. Can't play it anymore. It lost its mojo. What do you mean? What do you mean it lost its mojo? That implies that it had mojo. I think a multiplayer Fallout game sounds really fun. And a social focus game is fun sounding. I just like the OG Fallout functions like looting the bodies, etc. I had to play it. I couldn't. You can still loot the bodies in Fallout 76. Like, you know, maybe you can't like remove like the like you don't visually see like their armor disappearing or anything like that. You know, maybe you don't see that, but like it's still a thing. It's not as what's the word? You know, realistic. A bit of the realism isn't there compared to like some of the older games, but like again, like it's a lot of, I feel, the natural detraction points for Fallout 76 are in the fact that it is an online multiplayer experience, right? Let me see. Oops, no, wrong one. And like, yeah, you know, I feel like any criticisms of features directly connected to, you know, the fact that, because I feel as if a lot of the negative points are more so connected to the online aspects of the game, right? And like, you know, that's fine, especially if like online games intrinsically are a bit more general in a sense. They're meant to tailor towards a larger percentage of, you know, the player base. So it's like, you know, you can create an online game to tailor towards a specific game experience, but I feel like that game experience is going to be a lot less refined because of, you know, the fact that it's supposed to be an online game. It's supposed to cater towards more people. Looking for the fuck it, I don't care. Sure. What should we name our character? Yeah, no, I think I just tried to loot an NPC compared to a real player. Oh yeah, that could be it. I was just young. That's fair. One question about the Fallout games. What do you hope for Fallout 5 and what kind of factions? So, to be Donson, you know, I kind of actually like that. Especially since, so that specifically, I feel, and this could just be like you know what? Fuck it. It is my opinion. Fuck you. No, I'm just kidding. But it's like generic enough to where like it could be male or like a male or female name. You know, maybe a little bit more in like the female sense as far as like Hunter is a unisex name. But I like it. I think that's good. We're probably not going to be changing our gender or anything. Like I really don't care if we're female, we're female. If we're male, we're male. You know, whatever. But like kind of dig it. Now I have to fucking do this. Hold on a sec. No, go up. Sure. There we go. So yeah, one question about the Fallout games. What do you hope for Fallout 5? Like what kind of factions and stuff? So on its face, and this is definitely just me being a fucking pedantic asshole because I'm a pedantic asshole. That's not really a question about the Fallout games like as they exist currently. That's more so asking like, you know, what I'm hoping for with Fallout 5. And it's double that because it's also hinging that there's going to be a strong focus on factions, which specifically on that, I think that there is still going to be. My bad. Oh, no, it's fine. Again, I'm just a pedantic asshole. Don't worry about it. But again, to answer your question, as far as like what I would want out of Fallout 5 and as far as factions and stuff, I definitely think that there is going to be like, you know, it's not like there's going to be no factions, right? That's not realistic to expect. There are going to be factions. The Brotherhood of Steel is definitely going to be there, is definitely going to be a faction, right? Oh god, excuse me. Why is this not working? One of my chat things isn't working. Hold on, let me pop that open here real quick. So factions are definitely going to be in Fallout 5. There's no real argument about that. As far as what factions, so like what factions specifically, or like what kind of factions, right? Like off rip, I think that one of the sorry, I'm also trying to, where's the, is it that? No. Is it that? No. Dude. This one? No. This one? So that's showing up. Oh wait, maybe it's this. Maybe that's it. Maybe? No, that didn't look right. Like it looks right-ish, but that doesn't look right. Yeah, it's definitely not right. Oh well, I'll worry about that later. Let me get on the right page here real quick. Let me get on the game page. Good. Okay. Okay, so there's that there, but I don't want it looking like that. So let me try to split my brain's processing power between trying to fix this overlay issue and answering the question, because I think it's an interesting question as far as like factions specifically, right? Because I think that chat, there we go. Okay. I think that the like so far in the future that we don't see John Fallout, but we still see Minimant factions alive just with new members. So like, yeah, I think that as far as factions specifically, I think that Bethesda would, me personally, I think it would be more interesting if we saw factions that were more focused on yeah, that's still not how that's supposed to work. I don't know why the chat thing is working like that. Okay, there we go. Maybe I just had the wrong one there. Okay, yeah, there. Now it's working. I don't know why it wasn't before. Okay, so as far as factions, I feel as if like we're still going to have the Brotherhood. Obviously, I think that even from like just like not a Bethesda standpoint, right? The Brotherhood of Steel has just always been a faction that the franchise has just like constantly propped up as like, you know, oh, this is going to be in every game. A lot of people sort of, you know, put that on Bethesda, and I think it's fair to an extent, but then they also forget that that Black Isle had like 3-4 canceled games that they weren't able to get out because you know they got bought up by Bethesda and stuff like that. That were all centered specifically around the Brotherhood. So the Brotherhood of Steel isn't, you know, a stronger focus on the Brotherhood of Steel as a faction isn't that's not a Bethesda thing. That's just the way the series has been. Me personally, I would like to see them sort of move away from that a little bit. I think that the Brotherhood being a faction in newer games, you know, still makes sense. But me personally, I would like to see more of a deprioritization of them as like a major influential faction. Hello. Now it's not working. Is it only working when it's open? I'm gonna have to tinker with that. So I think they are still going to be in the game, but I think that me personally, I would like to see them in a smaller role, right? Maybe as like similar to how the Enclave works, right? Okay, yeah. So now it is open. Okay, no, now it's all right. It's fine. We're good. That's so weird. I don't know why it only works when it's not open. Ooh. Oh, this is interesting. Fresh dwellers leave the vault at level 2 with a perk of their choice. They require time training before taking on more difficult challenges. And then the battle ready dweller starts at level 20, includes weapon, armor, perk cards. Battle ready dwellers leave the vault at level 20 with a special loadout of their choice. They are prepared to jump into the more difficult content. Ooh, that's kind of interesting. Press T to view the level 50 character boost in the Atomic Show. Oh, okay, so it's behind me. Well, for anybody watching on verticals or on horizontal rather, there's a you can't see it very well, but there's a thing right behind me that says you can basically buy like a jump to level 50 like, you know, boost thing, which is cool, but you know, me personally, I don't like that. I like the gameplay journey. You know, you grow over time. But again, it's an online game. I can see why that would be attractive. But which one should we go here? Should we go with a level 20, or should we should we be a battle ready dweller, or should we just start the game as like a new person, a fresh dweller? I remember they added the ghoul mode at level 50. Yeah. It was interesting because it's one of those things where the ghoul thing specifically, like you can start at level 50, right? And you can become a ghoul at level 50. It's one of those things where it's for veteran players, they'll jump in, tinker with it a little bit, and then, you know, maybe go with it, maybe not. But then for newer players is far enough away to where it's going to take a long time to actually like level 2, I want to see a fresh start. Up to you though. That's fair. I'll go with level 2 because that's kind of what I was leaning towards. But like that's kind of interesting. You know, jumping straight into level 20. I don't think that really anything from like a story or a gameplay perspective would really change. I think we'd just be a little bit better prepared. But I wanna see like, you know, like from, you know, starting like from the beginning, right? I wanna see what the game's like that, or the game is like in that regard. Oh, and then we can, okay, so we kind of get a little bit of a basic start going here. Okay, all right, so let's see. Starts out with the slugger perk card. Can I do that? No. Okay, so that's just back. Well, actually, what if I do that? Yeah, okay, so, okay, interesting. So it starts us off with a little bit of like a focus. You know, melee combat, team play combat, action dweller. I guess that would be more agility focused, a higher degree of or a stronger focus to what is it? VATS. Duh. I don't use VATS very often, as as you might be able to tell by my complete inability to remember what VATS is called. Priscilla on TikTok, thank you for the ice cream cone. I love ice cream. Ice cream cones are spectacular. Gunslinger. I was gonna ask that too. Since we have like builds now, what should we go with? I feel like it's actually pretty, you know, it's kind of a non-starter because like inspirational and first aid are like very social focused. They're social focused builds, whereas Slugger and Gunslinger are, you know, combative focused builds. So it's really a question of, do we want to start as if we're playing with somebody else but we're not going to, or do we want to start as if we're playing by ourselves? Started as Gunslinger. Gunslinger. I'm seeing a lot of people say Gunslinger. PS5 for Fallout 4, New Vegas for PC. New Vegas, I would probably argue with, yeah, that's better played on PC. Fallout 4 was my life, but the crashes won't even let me play the Curse of Console. Yeah, unfortunately, Fallout 4 is still, even for people who like, you know, are on PC and like mod the game and stuff, it's in a weird state. A lot of the time, not always, but a lot of the times I'll be playing Fallout 4 for Fallout Fridays. But because I do modded playthroughs, and currently the mod is one mod specifically, Address Library, which a lot of more advanced mods use. It is not currently, or it hasn't been updated yet for the latest change to the Anniversary Edition. So modding is still definitely doable, but it's a lot more limited. So I'm over here thinking like, okay, well, you know, we could mod like a little bit, but we'll just get in. We'll just get in and play Fallout New Vegas for a while, or Fallout 76 for a while. Do this whole like new game experience that I've been wanting to do. So I see a lot of people in the chat say Gunslinger, so we'll just go with Gunslinger just to, because, you know, it's either going to be we're going to become a melee focused character or we're going to be a firearm focused character. We're going to end up using guns anyway, so fucking might as well. There's a tier list, and it's very clear that Gunslinger is at the top of the tier. Bro, it felt so weird when I got rid of my mods for a raw playthrough. Yeah, it kind of does. I went in, it wasn't like a new playthrough, but I remember at one point going in and doing like vanilla just to see, like, I think it was for when they dropped a lot of the when they did a lot of the like creation stuff, like here's a bunch of like creation stuff that we're just kind of like putting out there. I think I jumped in and got into that specifically, or did, you know, when that happened, I went in and did a vanilla playthrough, just to, you know, again, it did one. That was kind of the only option, but I also wanted to see like, hey, you know, how does the game run now? How does it feel? How does it play with all this like new creation stuff? And just get into that, right? And I wanted to experience that. And it was weird not having all of the like modded stuff, but it was also, it was sort of cleansing in a way, right? You get in, you don't have to worry about all this extra stuff that just by its nature, modding kind of adds on top of the gameplay already. You don't have to worry as much about that stuff, which was kind of nice. But then like it also feels weird because you don't have it there. But it's very nostalgic. You start a new game and it's like, it really was like this when it first dropped. But now it's because of the Anniversary Edition, it's cleaned up a little bit. It looks a little bit better. So it's sort of like, you know, this is how I envisioned it looking, right? I always played Fallout 4 modded. Yeah, I would argue that you don't have to play Fallout 4 modded to get like the best experience, but it definitely doesn't hurt, right? Okay, did you see my message about asking what platform you're on? No, I didn't see that. My bad. But to answer the question, I'm on PC. I'm a PC gamer. PC gamers, let's go. But yeah, I'm on PC. I've been like, I haven't played on Xbox since like, what was the last Xbox I played? I want to say Red Dead Redemption 2. That was actually probably what it was. Like I definitely played Fallout 4 on Xbox, like all the way through all the DLCs. but I can't think of any other game after Red Dead Redemption that I played on PC. And I think the only reason I played that, or sorry, yeah. Red Dead Redemption was on the Xbox, and I can't think of any other game past that I played on console. And I think the only reason I played it on console is because it wasn't on PC. Because that's just the way that's just the way that that's just the way that they that Rockstar does their rollouts and stuff. I also saw somebody in chat say to get a pump action shotgun and to invest in strength straight away. Priscilla, 20 summer suns. Thank you for the suns. I'll also say if I don't seem the most like enthusiastic about TikTok donations specifically, it's mostly because I don't fully understand the value transfer. So like I don't know, like because like with like suns and galaxies and roses and stuff, I know that they all have some sort of like monetary value attached to them. I'm just dumb and I can never keep track of that shit. So thank you, like a bajillion %. I'm just smooth brain. I'm unk brain over here. I don't know what all these shiny stickers you're giving me mean, but I know that you're being awesome. So thank you for being amazing. No problem. Thank you. Thank you for excusing my unk brain. Let's see. Also thank you for the follow on TikTok. Let's go. I think the railroad was going to be part of the Minutemen. I thought that would be cool. So like it's interesting with like the railroad specifically because I think objectively the railroad is like the least popular faction. But I think part of that is because they're the most like idealistic faction, right? They're the one that's like, oh, we have the God, excuse me. We have like the most grandiose plan. And it's also one that relies, I think, a lot on the conversation around like AI intelligence and stuff like that, which funnily enough in the game itself is even like a conversation within the faction, right? Like, oh, are we going to start freeing toasters? It like to what degree do protectrons and stuff like that have the same level of sentience as synths and stuff? And I think that side of the conversation is interesting. I just don't think it's one that the game, spent a whole lot of time dissecting. Which there's a lot about Fallout 4's story that I could go into and talk about. Like, man, they didn't do this to the degree that they could have done that I think would have been really interesting if they did do it. But that's why I say that when I'm asked like what my favorite Fallout game is, I always say, well, you talking about game or are you talking about story? Because if you're talking about game, it's Fallout 4. But if you're talking about story, it's Fallout New Vegas. Like it just is, because there is a delineation. There is specifics with that question. The stickers just mean a really small amount of money and cool stuff. Yeah. I know that. I with like YouTube or Twitch, it's like actual like a dollar amount or like a specific number of bits, and the bits have like a more direct value correlation. I just don't know what the stickers mean on TikTok. I'm sorry. But either way, everything is appreciated. Like, you don't gotta, you definitely don't have to, but anything is definitely appreciated. I hope we get a teeny bit more vault than the new vaults in 5. Yeah, like teeny bit more vault. More like how what was it? Fallout 3 had like a lot of different vaults. Not in like what is it? What is it? Not in like God, what is it? The term's escaping me. Not like variety, right? But there were just a lot of vaults that could be explored, right? There's like a large number. 4, I think, probably had the smallest amount, but I feel like they were more. It's a built wide instead of built tall conversation. Fallout 3 went with more of a wide, where there's more vaults, but there's not as much going on, at least like physically, right? There's definitely like, stories and environmental storytelling in those vaults, but not as much like, interactivity with like, oh, there's something going on here. Whereas like I feel Fallout 4 went in the opposite direction. They built tall, where there's more stuff happening in those individual vaults, but there's not as much, or there's not as many vaults, which is an interesting approach. I don't know if I'd like it more or not, more or less rather. But it's definitely a direction. And I guess that just comes down to more of a personal thing. I got Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 3. When I played Fallout New Vegas, it was so fun. A lot of people, I would also probably agree that like Fallout New Vegas is better than Fallout 3. But it's sort of in the same way that Fallout 76 is better than Fallout 4, because it's basically just built on the foundation that Fallout 3 or Fallout 4 started on, and then built on top of it, right? One of those like, Fallout 3 crawled so Fallout New Vegas could walk kind of things. But there is sort of like a difference in like approach between Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. So I'm definitely not trying to underplay that. I have to ask, who's the villain from the film that deserves their ending? From the film? I think you mean from the TV show. And we only really have one villain from the TV show, and that's Hank. I mean, we have like a couple different villains. I would argue. Fuck, I forget. Is it Quintus? Elder Quintus, the leader of Maximus's Brotherhood chapter. I'm not a big fan of him. He's kind of a dick. I like the way his character's designed, but like he's designed as a bad character. So it's like, bad guy, but well written. I'd say capitalism. Oh no, yeah, capitalism is definitely the ultimate enemy in the Fallout universe. I made a whole fucking YouTube video about that. Go check it out. I need to make more long form video. It's been a while. I've been making a whole lot of shorts, which I think especially for like specifically for TikTok, because TikTok is short form, not long form, has definitely helped my presence on that platform. But it's still like, I go to my YouTube and it's like, you haven't uploaded a long form video in 10 months. And it's like, yeah, you right. The bad guys in the Enclave or the Vault, or even Vault-Tec. You know what? That's fair. In the TV show, I'm back. Welcome back. In Amazon Prime, we don't really have a whole lot of villains that have been, directly focused on, right? We have a lot of, we got an ad starting on Twitch here pretty soon. If you guys on Twitch want to see less ads, consider becoming a member. We don't have a whole lot of directly focused enemies, right? We have Hank McClane. We kind of had Moldaver as like an enemy, but then by the end of the series, we sort of understand her motivations a little bit more. But I don't think that inherently, forgives her. She's not redeemed. She definitely has justification, but I think she's still an antagonistic character. You're right. There isn't a hard focused enemy. Yeah, not yet. They're definitely like playing it up with like the Legion and the Enclave and stuff. She is kind of shady, IMO. She definitely is. There's still a lot of questions that we have about her character specifically. Like, how did she get into, how did she go from pre-war to post-war without being a ghoul, or without, as far as we know, being frozen? Which I think they're going to. I think in season 3 they're gonna talk more about and dive more into. They're gonna walk back a little bit and explain that part of the story. But as far as like villains who deserved their ending, the what is it? I mean, I don't know. Hank is an interesting character. If you're a newbie, quit. Oh, I'm not a newbie. I've been playing this game for a long time, and I'm a fan. I like it. I've been playing since launch. We just started on like a newer character just to see like what the experience is like as a newer character, right? And it's kind of interesting because like when you leave the vault, you are prompted to sort of pick like a beginner build, like gunslinger, medic, slugger, which is a melee focused one, which is kind of interesting. Like we just get like a free card off rip, and that's kind of neat actually. Okay, yeah, cool. Okay, it is daytime now. More morning. But yeah, I don't know. I think that Hank might have deserved the ending that he got. It's not exactly fully written, right? We don't have like a full understanding of what his, the ending of his story is. I think it's pretty obviously, he lost his memory and forgot everything and stuff like that. But as far as like, the ending of his story, I don't know if this is like the complete ending. But like, yeah, I think it's hard to say like he didn't, bring it upon himself, right? I think that Hank definitely brought it, the ending that he got on himself. He's a victim of the corporate machine in a sense. Would get me the followers of the apocalypse. Yeah, that was another thing that somebody asked earlier, like what I want out of like Fallout 5 and stuff like that. I think that it's very likely, if not almost a guarantee, that we're going to be going to like, we're going to go to San Francisco or maybe like another part of California for Fallout 5. And while I don't think, if I'm remembering my lore correctly, and like lore potential, I don't expect that we're going to see the followers of the apocalypse in Fallout 4 or Fallout 5. But I think that it would be interesting to, at the very least, see remnants of them. If not, maybe like, like as they sort of were in Fallout New Vegas, occupy like a small location, right? Maybe give them a little bit bigger of a story inclusion, kind of like how they gave the Children of Adam a bigger story presence in what was it? In Far Harbor, but not in like, making them like a big proper faction, right? I think that'd be probably like a small town. Yeah, kind of like a small town, or like a church, or like a primary, like a singular building as their like base of operation. If I remember correctly, they kind of work with the NCR government a bit, and in that sense, they also, I think, if I remember correctly, the NCR government was also funding them to an extent. But at the same time, we kind of have the destruction of Shady Sands to take into consideration. So I think it's because like that specifically, a lot of people are like, oh my God, they blew up. Bethesda destroyed everything. They destroyed Fallout entirely. It's blatantly obvious that especially after the ending of season 2, right? The season 2 finale. Like the NCR does still exist in some capacity. We just don't see them in the area that we have historically known them to be in, which, they moved Shady Sands and stuff. Like, sure. Yeah. Okay. But like, generally speaking, like that's the area where we know that that's the area that we know the NCR occupies in, the wasteland, right? They're not in that area anymore because Shady Sands got blown up. I forgot you were streaming early. Yeah, it's fair. You don't have your iconic outfit. Oh, you're talking about like my old 76 outfit? But like my point with that is they also occupy most of California, right? Yeah, and like that's what I'm saying. Like Shady Sands got blown up, right? And like, that's still a big thing because that's like their capital. And so they're probably like really strongly on the back foot, because historically we know that the NCR occupies. Let me see if I remember correctly. Their territory is California, not all of Oregon, but I think like the bottom half of Oregon. They extend all the way down into I forget what the name of that peninsula in Mexico is. They have 5 states. Yeah, they have 5 states, but it's not like they occupy like Oregon, California, New Mexico, stuff like that. They have states within California. It's let me see if I can remember. Dayglow. I think if I remember correctly, the Boneyard is like a proper state. Shady Sands is a state. If I like conceptually, they're like a city and a state. I'm Baja. That's another one. I'm so bad at remembering. I'm so bad at remembering those. But again, to the point, they occupy a decent amount of territory. They have some territory in Mexico. I think a little bit of that is like contested territory. But as far as like their like sealed, controlled territory, mostly it is like, yeah, California. And then they're trying to expand into Vegas and Nevada and stuff like that. Obviously, because of the destruction of Shady Sands, I personally believe that, like, it's my personal headcanon, and I think that the game and the story or Fallout Prime sort of support it, is that the NCR were the victors at the Second Battle of Hoover Dam, but then like right after Shady Sands got blown up, so like they won this powerfully important strategic military position, but at the same time, their capital just got nuked. They don't exactly have the luxury of, being able to hold this territory. So they can't hold the territory. The Legion began their whole civil war after Caesar got sick. So they got occupied, fighting themselves for 20 years or 15 years or however long it's been, which is hilarious. I saw a lot of people like didn't like that, but to me that's the most like Legion thing possible, because they are like they teach as like a nation like to never back down and stuff. So like it I don't know, to me that was just really funny, and like, oh my god, this is exactly what the Legion would do if they ever splintered into a civil war. No retreat, no ground given, just fighting until there's only one left. I'm level 330 plus. That's pretty good. I'm 347, I think. Can I see my character from here? My other character? I don't think I am. Something like that. But I haven't been playing this game every single day since drop, so I'm not, even though I've been playing since drop, I'm not as far as I'm not as far as I probably could be. But my whole point with the NCR stuff, to me it's very clear that the NCR does still exist. It's just on a really strong back foot. So for me, I think that's going to make whatever, if it, like, again, I feel as if it's almost a guarantee that we're going to be going into oh no, that's that. Okay. Yeah, I'll read it. I think that it's almost a guarantee that we're going to be going to California for Fallout 5. I think that it is going to look very, very different in the current timeline, where we don't have leather chest piece, wood chest piece. No, yeah. I think it's going to be very interesting because we don't currently have the NCR in that territory, so it's going to sort design-wise, like narratively speaking, and like environmentally speaking, the area is a lot more hotly contested, right? I feel as if going into Fallout 5, we're definitely going to see Brotherhood. We're definitely going to see NCR. We're probably going to see different newer factions, like maybe some New Reno Mafia, maybe some Raiders that were, opportunistic Raiders, stuff like that. I think that we're going to see factions like that, and we're going to see less faction. I think it'd be really cool if we see the She pop up as a player, like a bigger faction. Maybe not a playable or joinable faction, but a bigger faction in the area. But if I remember correctly, the She were fully integrated into the NCR, so maybe they're just like, or at one point were just like their science or research division and not like an independent faction. I can't remember specifically myself. Infestations, brilliant 4-star legendary rewards. The infestations are kind of interesting. I haven't had as much opportunity to engage with them, but they have popped up a couple of times, and I've been seeing how many people like really get into them. It's pretty smart. It's pretty cool. I even get this question, and I want your opinion. I've been asked, would the NCR and Minutemen would they team up with each other? I feel as if they would have some, like, they wouldn't team up. If it was like, oh, we need to take down like, a Raider army or something like that, like they'd probably team up. But I feel like the Minutemen would be too moralistic. Like they'd probably look at like specific things that the NCR does and be like, we're not super down with this. So like you're cool and everything, but as far as like you becoming like, like if the Minutemen had the opportunity to join the NCR, I feel like they probably wouldn't. Plus the Minutemen is more of a like local defense faction, right? They're a militant faction, or a militia faction rather. They're closer to like a standing regional army, like a National Guard. They're not like a big, military force. I feel like they could be, but I feel like their primary focus is like quote unquote national defense, with like protecting the area that they're in. These ladies are looking for treasure. They ain't got treasure. I just got fucking literal tree bark that I just ripped off of a tree and glued onto my chest. That's what I got. Honestly, I hope not. I hope we'll go somewhere else. Like instead of California, like go somewhere else for Fallout 5 instead of California. I think that'd be interesting. Me personally, I think that a lot of the evidence has really strongly pointed in that direction. But there's not a non 0% chance. But like if not for California, where would you like to see them go? Is that your mule? No, this is just a new character. I just started a new character just to see what Fallout 76 was like in as a new game in 2026. I think they might have just. I think they would have just minded themselves. They're not military. And they are police and not government. That's like the common government. Blech. That is what the Commonwealth government was. Yeah, like, and even then, they're not like a police force, right? They're not going around saying like, hey, people of good neighbor, like these are the rules that you have to obey now. They're literally just like, hey, we're just trying to make sure that raiders aren't killing people, just trying to cross the street, right? Their whole thing is, like I said, a lot closer to something like a National Guard, where they're like, hey, we have a growing raider problem in like Quincy or coming in from the south or something. We're going to go down there and we're going to fight and protect the people, but we're not out here trying to enforce rules or governmental authority.
Thanks for answering.
Which I think that with to get more into like the modding fandom kind of lore writing stuff. Oh shit, sorry. I also missed I missed a message from Ranger a while ago. NCR Ranger on YouTube asks, how much money would it take for you to change your avatar to a maid version for a month? You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised by the answer to that. Not very much. Because like one of the things that I am it's one of those goals, right? Once I have enough money, I want to pay for like an actual VTuber model. Like maybe not an incredibly well designed one, right? Like I'm not going to come out here looking like, Bao or Fillion or oh God, what's that one guy, that porcelain doll looking guy? I think his name is Joel, but I don't remember what his like screen name is. But like I'm probably not going to come out here and like a fully like decked out, everything's like, super animated stuff like that. Probably not anything like that, but a sort of like next level upgrade to my current little PNG tuber here. That's like a goal. And part of that goal is definitely to have like, a girl version, and just like, different outfits and different costumes and stuff like that. So yeah, for, we're in like a maid version, for a month. Yeah, not really. That's sort of like, that sort of more fun costume stuff like that is already something that I sort of have like in my brain. I just need to have the resources for it. God, excuse me. Smart, capable person, like you said, probably a spare weapon or two. No, give me a good.
Now that you mention it.
That was the Commonwealth government, for to help give laws, so it could be a group of people. Yeah, the Commonwealth Provisional Government. That's what they were like originally trying to do and trying to build up. Again though, as I was saying, on the whole, as far as the like, community fandom, history, lore, story writing, stuff like that, I think that's why one of the reasons why Sim Settlements 2 was kind of interesting, because in that, one, the story arc that you go on in Sim Settlements 2 isn't a, it's funny because you kind of build up like this faction, like eventually you get a whole bunch of people together and then you take over the Galaxy News radio building in the south, which used to be a gunner hive, but then you go in, clear it out, and you turn it into a whole sort of like mother base, sort of headquarters where you slowly like add rooms, build stuff up, clean it up, make it like really big and really functional.
They seem to have cleaned
and you have like specific departments that do specific things like R&D, not human resources specifically, but things like that. More like governmental function things. Not governmental, that's probably not like the correct word, but more like, focused department kind of stuff to make this organization run a little bit better. And then you kind of stretch out a little bit farther in some of the side quests. Like there's a guy that you go out and you help. I think it's actually, maybe it's two. Is it two different missions that I'm thinking of? Because I remember there was one mission where you go out and you actually help like an actual proper police force get established. And then I can't remember if it's the same. Maybe it is the same, actually. I think it is the same faction. You go out and you get them started and they're like an actual police force. And then you later go out and you help them to find a pre-war ghoul that also just so happened to be a judge, a pre-war judge, to help with like legal processes and making decisions on a legal standpoint. And I think that specifically is really cool because it does show how like the processes for how a faction can go about creating that sort of like law and order society. And I think that's really interesting, especially when you consider that like we as sort of like a bigger like military defense presence are like actively working with that and, actively trying to make it a bigger presence in the region. There's a whole like, meta commentary about the military industrial complex controlling the police and stuff like that we could spin into. But I think in terms of like gameplay specifically, I think that's a really interesting approach. And while I don't know, it could be something that we could see in Fallout 5, right? If we were to go to, If we were to go to California, right? And we see, the area where Shady Sands was, where the NCR used to have a big presence. It's now, destroyed, lawless, stuff like that. The rebuilding of, a governmental structure or a national structure, I think would be kind of interesting. And I think that Charlotte Anne Marie, hello, howdy, how's it going? How you doing? I think that on a technical level, that could be something that Bethesda is building up to, because one of the things that Bethesda is really good at is sort of like, recycling a lot of their old ideas, right? Especially when it comes to gameplay. The settlement building system in Fallout 4 is a good example, because prior to that, we saw, we kind of saw in Fallout 3 the base function where you can get like a house and stuff like that. And then we saw that sort of take another step up in Skyrim, where you could actually like legitimately like buy a plot of land or buy a house in town, and sort of like, customize it a little bit, do it up a little bit. It wasn't anything like super crazy or super detailed, but it was something. And then going on from that, in Fallout 76, we saw an upgrade of the let me where's the favorites? There we go. Yep. Whoops, nope, wrong one. We saw an upgrade from that with the excuse me. We saw an upgrade to the settlement building system with the camp building system, which is basically like the same thing, but more, more focused. Batman Robin on TikTok, thank you for the follow. A more focus on like modulability, like being able to set down a base anywhere and then, build like not a big thing, but a smaller thing, still pretty big. And then from that, we saw a further jump with Starfield and the Outpost building system, which was effectively the same thing, but like on that on that closer to a settlement size, right? The downside with Starfield specifically is that at least when it first dropped, there wasn't a whole lot of stuff you could do with base building. It is an outpost, and it's an outpost for like mining ore and gases and stuff like that. So, it's going to be more industrial in a sense. So, whatever. But then like, and they with like the last big update they did, they added a little bit more stuff to it. But the point for that is that it's that scale up, right? It's a scale up from a lot of the stuff they did before. And with Starfield specifically, they added the whole shipbuilding stuff, which a lot of people, myself included, very strongly believe that Fallout. Not Fallout. Elder Scrolls 6 is going to also have a shipbuilding system, but it's going to be like, a sailing ship, right? You're going to be able to like build, customize, and like staff a boat that you can like, use to sail from place to place. I had the YouTuber Kort, K-O-R-T, on my podcast several months ago, the Atom Cast. Links in bio and all that, and links in the description and below the chat and stuff like that, or below the stream. But really interesting. If you guys don't know about him, he's really cool. He does sort of like machinima, not really machinima, but like he does very like story inspired things. With like his playthrough and his building in Fallout 4. It's really interesting what he does. He does like playthrough slash storytelling slash like settlement building stuff. It's a strange combination that doesn't sound like it works, but like on paper, but like when you actually see it play out, it's really good. And he does an amazing job. So if you guys are interested in that, go check it out. Go listen to my interview with him. But in that interview specifically, he talks about how hello Arthur Maxon, Batman Robin. My favorite Fallout game is Fallout 3. Fallout 3 is really good. We were actually just talking about how, because me personally, I think that Fallout 3, I said it earlier, but I'll say it again. I think that Fallout 3 atmospherically, tonally, is like peak Fallout. I think that it, more than any other game, captures exactly what the tone of Fallout 3 maybe not should be, but I think is probably the best encapsulation of the general vibe that it's trying to go for. But in my interview with Court, one of the things that he theorized is that in Elder Scrolls 6, there is going to be, again, that shipbuilding thing. And he thinks that there is probably going to be, very similar to how Starfield sort of had, like generated planets, like generated planetary maps. There's probably going to be a system that will generate like different islands, right? Different islands that you can arrive at and then explore as you are needing to sail back and forth between these two major hub locations, Redguard, and then I can't remember what the other one is. I want to say Elsewhere, but I know that's not right. I'm forgetting my my geological my not topographical. I'm forgetting the layout of a lot of the different countries or states, regions in Tamriel. But again, being like sailing between those two locations is probably going to be a gameplay function, and between those two locations is probably going to be some sort of island generation technology, very similar to what we saw in Starfield. And there's going to be points of interest. A lot of the point is, that's something that he theorized with, and I don't think that's completely out of the question, as we've seen Bethesda reuse and advance different bits of technology. I think that they're probably also going to do a sort of what is it? They're going to do I'm trying to get where's my, oh yeah, here, I'm fucking stupid. I'm like, where's my favorite wheel? It's right there, Bingus. Okay, so I actually want that. So let me do, sorry, hold on one sec. I want to, yeah, that's that. So, oops, no, wrong one. Oops, shit. Nope. So we would have to do that and then that. Yeah, there we go. That's better. So I think that they're probably going to do something like that, where like I agree that they're probably going to have a system like that as far as like sailing goes, right? Being able to build your own ship and then sail to different islands and stuff like that. I think that that's pretty believable. And then as far as like base building stuff, I think that that's pretty likely. I don't know if it's going to be like, fort or like city level. I think that like fort or like larger outpost would make sense. But as far as like, again, like larger scale, I think it'd be probably not as much, but I don't think it's out of the question, especially with, now that Bethesda has Microsoft money, but then now that Microsoft and Xbox specifically have more so decided that they're going to focus on larger projects. So, that basically, that's just going to mean like more money for, we got an ad starting on Twitch here pretty soon. If you guys on Twitch want to see less ads, consider becoming a member. Shilling for Jeff Bezos. But I think that that it's just going to mean that there's going to be more money put into these larger projects like the Elder Scrolls 6 and Fallout 5 and stuff like that. And there's a whole conversation around, because a lot of people are like, a lot of developers are getting, let go, and they're axing a lot of studios and stuff like that, which is not great. That like really sucks, actually, especially since some of them, like Compulsion Games, have made literal award-winning games, even if they don't have like the highest output of games. The games that they do put out are like really, really high quality, and really, really good. But as far, like, I don't know, it's confusing. I'm happy that we're probably going to be getting, Fallout 5 and Elder Scrolls 6 sooner, but at the cost of like all these other development studios and people's jobs and stuff like that. I'm not a fan of that. That's a no bueno. Is this Fallout 76? You damn straight it is. I don't know why naval warfare in Fallout sounds so cool. Yeah, it's one of those areas that, well, with as far as like ships fighting each other, right? That's not something that they were going to do in Fallout 4 specifically, but I think like a larger focus on like water exploration was originally something that Fallout 4 was going to do, but then for whatever reason they just ended up not. Like the what is it? The I think model and animation for a harpoon gun are still in the base game, and there's been like a couple of mods that have like recreated it and stuff. But as far as like it unfortunately just never became something that was a priority, which is kind of a bummer because I feel like the oceans of Fallout are just something that has just like been. Is that a new person? Yeah, that's an actual base. I'm like, what am I looking at here? Yeah, it's a player. But yeah, it's just never been a super. Fuck is Lane? It's just never been a super big. It's an area that hasn't really been explored a whole lot, and I think that's kind of a bummer because I think it has a whole lot of potential. If they were to do something like that for Fallout 5, that'd be incredible. That'd be insane. Shit. Oh wait, there we go. Okay. Do you think they will ever make a new Fallout game? Yeah, they are. They're. I mean, like, I can't imagine it's in like active development, as in, you know, they're putting fingers to keyboard and writing up the code and stuff. But yeah, they're making Fallout 5. It's got a couple of years ago they said that they had a one pager for the for like the basic plot, the basic synopsis of Fallout 5. So at this point specifically, they're probably. I would probably say if I had to give a guesstimation, right? I would probably say they're maybe halfway through finishing up the maybe not finalizing, but like halfway through either probably a second draft or a lot of finalization processes on like the first half of the main story. I would imagine. Like a lot of the focus is behind. A lot of the focus specifically is behind the Elder Scrolls. But they have some groundwork for. They have some groundwork laid for Fallout 5. Like, it's definitely in development. It's just, you know, it's going to take a while because the primary focus for them right now is Elder Scrolls 6. Where is it? There it is. Maybe it's because I've been playing a bunch of Forza recently, but I'd love to learn more about the car scene of the pre-war. That's actually something that I think would be really cool. I think that again, I talked about it before. We're definitely going to be going to California for Fallout 5. If it was like set somewhere else, I think that like a place like fuck, now I'm spacing on like the names of the location. Like, you know, somewhere that has like a big, you know, automobile presence in American history, like St. Louis or Detroit rather. Like locations like that. I think that a Fallout game that has a larger focus on like vehicle traversal, I think that would be really interesting, but it would have to be built in such a drastically different way than any other Fallout game has been built to date that I think it would probably not be the most attractive thing to a lot of core Fallout players, but I think would be definitely not, you know, exactly what they've been asking for, but I think it would be a really close approximation, because with any game that includes any sort of traversal via, you know, vehicles or mounts or anything like that, they would need to what is it? They would need to make the map really, really big. Because so Grounded is a good example of this, right? Because Grounded 1 had a pretty big map, all things considered. But it was big because you had to walk from location to location, right? It was basically the size of like an average backyard, an average neighborhood backyard. Not super giant from like our perspective, but not small either. With Grounded 2, they have even like Grounded 2 is still in like early access, so the map isn't completely opened up. But even the area that they started off with at the beginning was probably like 2-3 times, if not 4 times as big as the first game, but it was a lot easier to traverse and a lot faster to traverse because of the inclusion of mounts, of the buggies rather in the game. So it's a scale up, but the issue there is you can build more major locations, but they have to be farther apart to account for that faster traveling system. So if they were to build a Fallout game that had drivable vehicles in them, then the map would have to be probably double the size of Fallout 76, right? At least in my opinion, to account for being able to drive from one location to another. I think that the landscape would have to be vastly different from any other Fallout that we played before. It would probably have to be closer to something like Fallout 3 or Fallout. Probably closer to Fallout 3, where there's not a whole lot of diversity in the landscape. It would have to be very, very, very focused. Right. There would have to be enough going on between the major locations to feel, alive and at the very least semi-interesting, but at the same time not interesting enough to distract the player from the point that they're trying to get to. Right. So it would sort of have to be dulled a little bit, but sort of in the sense that we talked about before, built wide compared to built tall. Right. Because Fallout 4 was built wide. Where there was a lot of stuff you could get into just across the map, whereas a game like Fallout New Vegas was built tall, where most of the game happened in specific locations. And again, that's a design choice. One way isn't worse or better than the other. It's just the way that the way that the game is designed. But I think, and this is probably a little bit more of a meta commentary opinion on my point, I think that if Bethesda were to do that, build tall instead of wide, I think that the general fan base, even though that's like exactly the way that Fallout New Vegas was built, I think that the general fan base, or maybe more so the critical fan base, would see that as like a fundamental failure. Or like laziness or something, right? Because it's kind of like what they did with Starfield, right? They definitely built probably a little bit too wide, with like the number of planets tall. They built too tall with the most of the game happening in like key specific locations, and then like all of the rest of the game just sort of like there and just like a giant map and stuff like that. And things happen in those areas, but not enough to sort of like be like incredibly memorable. So you have a lot of blank space effectively. I think that if Bethesda were to do that, again, even though it's something that worked out very, very well for New Vegas, I think that a lot of the more critical people would just see it as just like a non-starter and like laziness or whatever. But that's just me. But yeah, I think that if they were to make a car-centric Fallout game, I think it'd be really cool. I just don't know if it's something that people would be inherently accepting of. Let's see. The new Xbox lead said that they would now be focusing on Fallout more and Elder Scrolls even more. They said specifically that they would be focusing on like the larger Xbox title. So that includes like, Elder Scrolls and Fallout. But then it's also like, Halo, what is it? Wow, my brain. Gears of War, probably Forza, probably trying trying to think. I'm spacing on like so many like larger titles for Xbox, but like, you know, that's their focus. Their focus is on the bigger things and not like some of the smaller studios. So like I was talking about earlier, they got rid of what is it? Well, they didn't get rid of, but there's they're like in the process of separating from God, was it Compulsion Games, which is the studio that made We Happy Few and South of Midnight.
All that is to say,
And then like other studios like Ninja Theory and stuff like that. And these are smaller studios, and if they were to go like, you know, indie or more into an indie space, I feel like they would probably still do decently well, but being decoupled from Xbox and from Microsoft is sort of like bad for them, because, you know, then they lose out on funding for their projects and you know, this, that, and the other thing. But then the further down, or the upside for Xbox is that they can then refocus on those larger titles for the studio. So it's taking money away from smaller studios that put out the wide versus tall structure of game design in this specific instance, whether you have, you know, a bunch of smaller studios that are making games that have an Xbox first mentality, or whether you're focusing just on like the big titles for your studio, or like exclusives, like PlayStation is focusing more on exclusives rather than you know, more, not general, but more game studios that are built with like PlayStation first in mind, but then also, you know, have like Xbox and PC ports and expansions and stuff like that. And I have a lot I could say about PlayStation. I think that the way that Xbox specifically is going about doing things, again, it makes the it makes specific titles more, it makes it so that we can get like Fallout 5 and Elder Scrolls 6 and some other games that take a while because they're, you know, large titles. It means that we can get them faster, and like that's cool and everything. But then the downside is that we don't have all of these other really cool and really unique and really interesting games coming out of these studios, which I would argue isn't the best. But then at the same time, because a lot more people are just sort of naturally moving away from, maybe not moving away from, but putting more stock into the indie scene. I think it's good for the indie scene, for some of these other companies to, you know, split off from the larger studios because of, you know, inherent inbuilt you know, criticism against, you know, large corporations owning and crafting video games and stuff like that. I think that it's good in that sense. I think that it's like a long-term versus short-term thing. I think that in the long term, this is probably going to be better for all parties involved, but in the short term, especially since, you know, people are losing their jobs and stuff like that, I'm not a fan of that. It's most likely short-term pain for a long-term gain. But I'm not the biggest fan of that. As somebody myself who I'm trying to get into the game industry, it doesn't look good. It's not a hopeful thing to look forward and see your industry, you know, peeling off jobs and developers, especially with more and more people, more and more studios leaning into AI and stuff like that. That's a bummer. That's fair issue. Honestly, I'd just be happy to hear from an account from someone at a car meet. That'd be again like a stronger inclusion of like, what was it? What was it? The Atom Cats in Fallout 4. How they had, you know, sort of a oh my god, How they had a you know, a 50s greaser, you know, rockabilly, like check out my cool car kind of vibe to them. But it was like about power armor. That was kind of neat. Vehicles in general in the Fallout universe are just really, really interesting because of like their history, how they were used in like older games, and how they could further be used in the universe still. I think that's pretty dope. Should I get Fallout 76? And if I do, am I going to be a Minuteman in game? I mean, you I don't know what you mean by a Minuteman in game. Like you mean like loadout, build, stuff like that. Like you could definitely make a loadout like that really, really works. I think that the closest thing that you're gonna find to, yeah, okay, yeah, like build and stuff like that. Oh no, yeah, you could definitely make a build like that. You would probably lean more into like the responders as like a direct faction inspiration, right? Because they're basically like the Minutemen mixed with the children of Adam, in a sense. They're all about, you know, teaching people like how to survive and stuff like that. But then also sort of have like a little bit of a military presence. Player icon, I guess. What am I gonna? Oh fuck! There's a whole bunch I didn't even get. Hold on, I gotta get these. These are like icons specifically for just for new players specifically. Would that only unlock if I got the new player? If I started as a new player? That's kind of interesting. Sure, this one. How do you do? Yeah, that one. Okay. Okay, I think I got it. Speaking of cars, the Chrysler Rocket 69, 69, nice. Was a DLC in Forza Motorsport 6, like a Fallout inspired car. That's pretty dope. They've been doing a lot of I mean, not like recently, but Fallout Bethesda rather. Bethesda was doing just like a lot of crossover stuff with the IP. They did that. I think it was, I can't remember if it was 1 or 2, but they did at least one Fortnite crossover, which is pretty neat. I think they did one for, I want to say they did one for Call of Duty, or one of them. It's either Call of Duty or Modern Warfare. I can't remember specifically. Then there was some other game. What was it? I can't remember what the game was. There was some like small mobile game that had kind of like a fuck, what was it? It was kind of like a fuck, what was the name of the game? What was the name of that game that came out at like the same in the same month as oh, Fall Guys. Yeah, that was it. Fall Guys. It was sort of like Fall Guys, but it was like mobile only. Excuse me. It was like a mobile only game, and it had like Fallout skins that you could get. It was kind of weird because it was a really small, innocuous kind of game, and I don't remember ever hearing about any sort of crossover, but like it's there. it was strange, but yeah, they did a lot more crossovers like a year or so ago, which is pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see. Team member only incarnate. Yeah. Call of Duty, the stuff with Fallout. Yeah, that was it. And surprisingly, did that DLC back in 2019. Oh, you're talking about the Forza one. Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. That makes a bit more sense. Because, like, you know, that's like the DLCs and stuff like that. The man. Duh. Why don't you put that gun down, friend? You're outnumbered. Let's talk. I'm gonna shoot you in the mouth.
Outnumbered? Shit. Fine. But don't think this is the end.
Oh, okay.
Only for you, honey. No.
Now let's kiss about it, okay? Come on. Let's make out about it.
Get out here.
Yeah, what, Duchess?
No, she's out? Okay.
Jesus! You let one of those monsters in here?
Wow, racist.
You want to see if there's a tomorrow? Then I want you to tell me where you and the rest of your numbskull crew is hiding out.
Oh,
What? Mort. What?
Mort got him. Mort's dead.
He called me a monster. All right, what? He was gonna kill us.
You know, we could have asked him some questions.
Oh, you know what? It's safer this way anyway.
I suppose.
I remember when, if I remember correctly, this was part of the,
When you're here to have a drink,
the,
I've had a gun pointed at
shit,
me
what was it?
more than enough for
the like first big, fuck, I can't even remember the name of the update, but like the first big update that brought people, like brought human NPCs back to the region and stuff like that. And I remember thinking just like what a big deal it was for this place to have, like, you know, because this is basically like the first stop when you leave the vault, and you just kind of like, you know, oh, I completely forgot. I wasn't even paying attention. we got to do this for like a little side quest thing. But yeah, like coming down here, and then just like, I guess the natural way to was just to walk south, and then in like the olden days, right? You could just like, you know, go anywhere. But I think most people like went down south, and they went to they went down here. It's not Morgansville. I forget the name of this little town right here. But this was like the first place that most people went to. But like, you know, you could like spin off and like go this way, go that way. Most people at the beginning, when the game first launched, didn't go up this way because there's like super mutants up here, and they're not fun. Some people probably like did a straight shot to Morganstown and stuff like that. Maybe Helvetia and whatnot. Maybe Charleston. But yeah, now there's like an actual like progression, like a direction they send you, which I think, if I remember correctly, is basically the same thing. Like you start here, go down here, then you go down here, and then I think they point you up towards Morgansville. Like there is a like set path. You go from like you knock around the forest for a bit, then you go up to the Toxic Valley, you know, do stuff there. Then you go down to the Ash Heap and up to the Savage Divide, and then through the Mire, then Cranberry Bog and stuff like that. That's how like the game was, you know, initially designed to be played, because early on there was like, you know, every area had like a level to it. Like you wouldn't go from the forest straight to the Cranberry Bog, because you would get flattened, because there's so many, there were so many high level characters in Cranberry Bog. So you would like, you know, slowly go through, experience the whole game, and then eventually get to Cranberry Bog. But then like at some point they changed it so that the entire map was level listed to scale with you, which I think that's probably a better idea. You get to it opens up the map a lot more. It's a lot freer. There's a lot more opportunity in a sense. Except for Ohio. You just don't go to Ohio. Like I'm talking as like a high level, like 300 plus level character, like an end game character, right? Like Ohio, like I have a very strong build on my main account, right? I have a very strong build. If I do it right and I'm paying attention, there is hardly anything in the game that can take me down. I just walk up to something, stand stock still, and just like boom, hit it with my flamer. And it doesn't, whatever is attacking me can't do as much damage because of the way my build is set up, and any damage that I do take is healed because of my innate healing ability, and then also my what is it, the flamer I'm using like restores health as it does damage. So it like very unlikely that anything can take me out. The only thing that I'm like semi susceptible to is what is it? Laser turrets for some reason. I think maybe it's very weird. The laser turrets seem to cut through me a lot quicker than than most other things. Still don't entirely get it, but there's probably some mathematical logic where it makes sense. But yeah, in Ohio, the Ohio Deathclaws, they got hands. They take me out. I don't know what it is, but they're just like built different, which I think from like a meta commentary, I think that's really funny that Ohio is like the ultimate challenge, you know, the Ohio memes and stuff like that. I think that's really funny. But then from like a gameplay design perspective, I think that's really interesting because you're no longer dissuading people specifically by like, oh, like the enemies that you run into here are just like a whole lot stronger or are like, you know, bullet spongy or whatever. No, instead they're a much stronger threat because they do more damage to you. With like, you know, specific enemies, I think that it's, you know, easy to like, it's easy to defend yourself against that. Like Deathclaws anywhere else are easier to defend and guard against. But they're still like not easy. Like if you're starting off as like a new player and you don't have like a very strong build, like a strong Deathclaw or like a super mutant can definitely still like take you out. But when it comes to when it comes to being able to defend against them, charisma one or below, mail invitation maybe. That's what my mom did for my birthday parties. Though I guess no one came to those either. God, I missed the low charisma or the low stat dialogue options. Those are always fun. But like, yeah, I think that making it so that a character is a stronger, not harder to take down because again, you know, they have a higher level or more health or whatnot. I think that just making it harder to take down because they do a lot more damage to you is a lot more interesting of a fight than, you know, just laying on something and just trying to make the health bar go down as quickly as possible. I mean, that is definitely the strategy in a lot of combative issues or a lot of combative situations. But I think it's more interesting because it sort of forces you to think a little bit more strategically about, you know, not getting hit as opposed to just doing damage outright. Because you can do like as much damage as humanly possible, as much as you want. But if your character doesn't have like a solid defensive strategy, they're just, it's a glass cannon situation. They're going to get knocked over in like 1 or 2 hits. But if you're able to like strategize and like, you know, think of like different ways to maybe temporarily halt the enemy or like confuse them or whatever, I think that's more interesting than again just laying on suppressive fire. I think that the biggest thing Fallout needs to do, like combat wise, is focus more on like strategy and like delays and whatnot, like figuring out how to like, you know, stun an enemy or like mobility, right? I think that mobility is definitely an issue that Fallout has in combat. It's more about just, you know, just shooting as and doing as much damage as quickly as you can. We got an ad starting on Twitch pretty soon. If you guys on Twitch want to see that's ads, consider becoming a member. I always like when I'm able to like fully get that out and then like and then the ad starts. That's always funny to me. Yeah.
Overseer, huh? So you must be the one. No, I haven't seen.
But yeah, I think that stuff like that, mobility and like traps and certain like status conditions, like you know, stunning somebody or confusing them or whatnot. I think stuff like that is more what Fallout needs in a combat sort of style. Let's do it.
Hot dog. Be good to have those dolts off our back at long last. Just make sure once you find out where they're hiding, that their leader gets the message. The wayward gets left alone. And here, that overseer tape. Sounds like she set up that camp across the way so her people could get some practice in self-reliance. Probably worth looking into if you think you could use a refresher.
Oh, I thought that said we're getting 1 cap. I'm like, here's your reward, 1 cap. Congratulations. But yeah, so the basic story as we've seen so far is we're a vault dweller. We leave Vault 76. We come down here. We run into this location, the Wayward, and they have a problem with like raiders harassing them or something like that. So we go and help them. We tell them, hey, fuck off. And then, ooh, corpse in a nice laid cabin. I don't remember a lot. Again, it's been a long time since I interacted with the main story directly because I finished that shit up like forever ago. But as far as the story itself goes, something it spins off from the Wayward stuff specifically. I can't remember if that leads into the like the raider group up at the crater specifically, or if it was something else. If I remember correctly, somehow it leads into that. But so that's basically the situation that we find ourselves in right now. Oh God, what do you want? You want to die? Blam! Get chopped up. We've left the vault. It's been like fucking 3 days because I yap so goddamn much. We left the vault. We've come down here. We found the little bar called the Wayward, and they're all like, "We need you to go beat up some raiders for us." And we're like, "Okay, I'll do that. I have a gun." Boom. All right, let me run over here and speculate this dead body. I'm gonna look at the dead body. You guys want to see a dead body? Hit. Oh God. Not used to having 0 AP anymore. Plus, my AP would restore a lot faster on my old save. Not this one. This one takes forever. Alright. Got my gun. Watch. We're clear. Can I cook anything? I don't think I can. Cook you late, craft you late, and stuff you late. Oh, a can. Hell yeah. Sick. That's good. One thing I don't like about how, or like what Fallout 76 has changed is that I remember like early on, it was like, what is it? There used to be a, like the food and drink system, right? It used to be like in the olden days, back in my day, when Fallout 76 first dropped. The food and water system, like eating and drinking, that was directly tied to like your survivability. If your food or your water ever hit 0, then I also didn't notice that the game gives us leather armor and stuff off rip. That's it. So that additionally, like that giving us stuff like a loadout gear right at the beginning of the game, that's nice. I think that intrinsically that's better. Where did I get the standard backpack? Huh, weird. I think that as far as online gameplay goes, that's better. It kind of makes it a little easier for new players, you know, have something starting off. But as why is this grayed out? Oh, I'm not level 5. I can't use it yet. Yep. As far as it's a throwing weapon, isn't it? Yeah, tomahawks are throwing weapons. Yeah. as far as like difficulty, it's definitely been made a lot easier, because back in my day, whenever your health, whenever your food or your drink hit 0, you died, and like you were dead, and you had to respawn somewhere. And if I remember correctly, that somewhere was the vault, I think. You respawn somewhere. I can't remember where it was specifically. If you died in, maybe it was just like the closest location. Yeah, that might have been it. It might have been like the closest location. Hey, yo, what up, Mitts? How's it going? But yeah, like in old Fallout 76, if your food or your water ever, your hydration or your fullness ever hit 0, then like you died and you had to respawn somewhere. Now it's only like when your health reaches 0. But if you're there's like incentive to hydrating and eating. It's just now in like a buff. Like you gain like a little bit of a buff if you have a full stomach and are fully hydrated. I think you maybe get like a little bit of a debuff if both are at 0, or if like one or the other is at 0. And like it's, you know, it's fine. It makes the game easier, which I think, especially for an online game, I think is good. But it does take some of the survivability focus out of the game, which for me, that was one of the things that I really enjoyed about Fallout 76 was that that slightly higher difficulty level, right? Like it's not impossible, like it's not super hard to feed yourself or to stay hydrated, but it there's a little bit more of a focus, a little bit more there's a bigger sense of urgency in doing that if it means that your character is going to die as a result, as opposed to just, oh, I get a slightly worse buff. Oh no. Doing fine, waiting for the Amazing Digital Circus YouTube premiere in like a couple hours. Yeah, it's currently noon, so it's gonna kick off in 3 hours. I gotta. I'm not finished.
Gotta prepare for even more settlers.
But yeah, I got a short that I have. I gotta finish up the audio, and then and then add, like, you know, do like editing and stuff on. But I got a video that's gonna or a short rather that's gonna be coming out today, talking about some of the things that have been on my mind since I went to go see it. Eat that? Yeah, I can. Eat it. Eat the entire honeycomb. But yeah, I'm gonna be interested to see what the general consensus is of the populace once they can see it on YouTube. So I think the general consensus of the movie, like after people saw it in theaters, I think that it's mostly positive. But with the effectively, we're gonna get a lot more like people critical of the series weighing in and voicing their opinions and stuff. You know, like if they're critical of the series, then they're not going to spend money to go see it early, right? They're not going to do that. So they're just going to wait for the episode to come out. And then I feel like at this point, we're going to see a lot more of, like, again, a lot more criticism of the series, which I'm or not the series, the final episode specifically, but I'm interested to see what people put forward as their argument, because I've been seeing a couple people with some decent criticisms of the last episode and the series in total, with relation to what we saw in the final episode. And I don't think they're inherently wrong, but I'm interested to see what a lot of people's like big criticisms are. The Amazing Digital Circus is so good. It's pretty good. I wouldn't say it's the best thing. It's to me, it's like a solid like 8 out of 10. I think the narrative is really strong, and I think that some of the writing decisions, where it's like it's not incredibly hand-holdy, right? It doesn't spell out a lot of things, which I think is I think it's a good narrative decision. And I've just been seeing a lot of people like criticizing that. Like I saw somebody in like a TikTok comment section or something say like, well, it was like they were basically saying like, oh, it was kind of a letdown because like we didn't really get any closure on like what CNA was and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, we did. We maybe didn't get closure, but we know like who they are and what they were doing and stuff, you know. We didn't get a timeline of like, oh, well, you see, back in 1483 when John CNA, got back from the war. Like, we didn't get a fucking, whole Poppy's Playtime backstory and stuff like that. But, we know enough to, explain why they're relevant to the story, right? Like, that's kind of one thing that just, like, in general, I think it was actually something that I was thinking about earlier, how sort of like the theorist community, right? Not like specifically like game theory, film theory, stuff like that. Like definitely as a result of them, but by way of that more so, not as an effect of, but by way of the theorist community, there's sort of a more demanding expectation for larger, more specifically laid out lore, right? Because funnily enough, in that same TikTok comment section, I can't remember if it was the same person or somebody else. They also said like, well, I mean, yeah, they said something to the effect like, yes, but, an expanded lore makes the story richer, right? And to an extent, it's like, yes, but, they're also like the Amazing Digital Circus is a contained story. They're not like trying to spin off into a whole like cinematic universe like Five Nights at Freddy's or like, like Poppy Playtime is, right? It's not supposed to be like this big giant thing. It's a contained story. So there's not really a need for a massive lore dump or like a lot of like behind the scenes, like, oh, this is like, like we don't even know who like the boss of like CNA is. And we know that Kinger worked there and we know that Scratch worked there, but like they were just like employees there. We don't know the boss. We don't know their like big end goal. We know that they worked on AI, but we don't know a lot of like, finer details about the company. Like, why do we have all of these people that are getting being brought into the digital circus, right? Like how are these people being brought in here? Are they being brought in maliciously? Are they being brought in accidentally? Because from a lot of the interactions that we've seen or from the characters specifically, it seems like they just kind of like put on a headset as like a joke or an accident or something like that, and then found themselves in the digital circus. But there's no like larger explanation of like, were like some of the other people, like, were they, forced to go into it? Like there's no, because it's not important. Like it's not relevant to the story that they're telling. And without getting into spoilers for episode 9, a lot of what we see in episode 9 reinforces a more character focused narrative around like, Pomni, Jax, the main characters, but then also this larger point, leaning into something that Gooseworks said like a year after the series dropped, where she was asked like, what's the biggest thing you want people to, what's the biggest message you want people to take away from the series? And she said that there's meaning to be found in a stagnant life or something like that. And the story, as we see, is very focused on delivering that message and telling that story. And it's like, that's the whole point. We don't need all this huge, expansive backstory of like, the company or Kane's relationship with the blue circle and like all this other stuff. Sometimes the story, it's kind of frustrating sometimes. Literally, unless something is relevant to the story that is being told in a narrative sense, it is not important at all. Like it's just not, We know enough about CNA and about the digital circus to support the story that is being told. We don't need to know, what Ragatha's relationship was like with her siblings, or like the details of what her relationship was like with her mother, and this, that, and the other thing, with like regards to specific characters' backgrounds, or like the backgrounds of the world, because they don't support the story. They're not important to the story that the show is trying to tell. And it's like, would it make the world richer if we were told those stories? Yeah. But again, they're not relevant, and they're not important. This guy just fucking came up behind me and smacked me with an axe. What an asshole. Let's see. Topic to discuss for the last 2 weeks is going to explode tenfold. Oh no, yeah, it's going to be crazy. I hope they offer a DVD set or whatever. I'd love to have a physical. That'd be kind of cool, actually. That I could probably see that as like merch or something that they do. Not likely gonna happen though. Something I've learned from the past 2 weeks. Ambiguity is a fandom's worst nightmare. Oh no, yeah. I can't, like, again, I'm not gonna spoil anything about the episode, but for that part at the that quote unquote revelation at the beginning of the ninth episode, I can already see a lot of people being all like, well, what do they mean? It doesn't make any sense. They never really explain like this, that, and the other thing. And like, yeah, they didn't tell it to you verbatim because they don't think you're a brainless troglodyte. They can't put 2 and 2 together. Like there's a lot of subtle implication that the series, and more specifically the last episode, introduces, that isn't spelled out for you, because it doesn't need to be spelled out for you, because you have a functioning ideally anyway, you have a functioning frontal cortex, and you can read between the lines and figure out what's being said without having to be told what's being said. That's just my opinion, though. Like I said before, I'm a pedantic asshole, so maybe I'm just being mean, and I'm just smarter than the average bear. Bam, bam. I'm just picking up a lot of garbage that I probably don't need. Stim pack? No, stim pack. I'll take that, whatever. Psycho, I'll take that. I can sell that. Oh no. Oh, they let the rat eat him alive. That's fucked up. This game has some fucked up parts of it. Not gonna lie. Too many people want media to be 100% laid out, and that's how we get. You have no people? Han Solo. Yeah, exactly. I saw on Reddit the other day, somebody, I can't remember which Fallout Reddit page it was on, but somebody in one, I think it was the main one, but somebody on Reddit asked, like, why don't we have a like books in the Fallout series that talk about, like, smaller aspects of like the lore, or like stories and stuff like that. And while specifically to that point, I think that'd be, to that point specifically, like books and stuff like that, I think that's really cool, and I think that's a really smart way of doing of expanding the lore and expanding the world, especially in these larger these franchises that are supposed to be like isolated stories, but they're trying to do that, cinematic multiverse, or like larger they're trying to build larger worlds, right, that can have multiple stories told in them, like the FNAF series, right? I feel like that's sort of a healthy balance, where originally there was like this cut and dry story of like family trauma and this, that, and the other thing with the like original first like couple of games, but then with the books, they were able to not only like build on the lore of the world, but also tell multiple new stories that help flesh out and make the world and the universe more interesting. With game series, I think that's also a good idea, because you know, with something like Fallout or like the Elder Scrolls, right? You're world building, so you want to have multiple stories set in a world that has, you know, rules and expectations and, you know, norms and this, that, and the other thing, right? So making books that have or making mainline stories like games and stuff that have a open and shut story that they're trying to tell is the smarter approach. It is the wiser idea. But when it comes to you know, this, like series like The Amazing Digital Circus, right, where it's like the whole point is the story that is being told, not building some sort of gigantic universe that's supposed to be like, he just stood there and fucking let me chop him up. It's not supposed to be creating this whole, you know, multiverse that can be spun up and have all sorts of, like, you know, different stories told into them. No, the world revolves around the story. The story isn't meant to enhance the world. And to get back to the game theory stuff, I think that's one of the larger downsides of the existence of a theorist community, where, because we saw it with like Hello Neighbor, right? Hello Neighbor was the natural negative of that sort of community, where they're creating their games to be larger, more expansive, more open to theorizing and to theorizing and in-depth exploration of the story, specifically as a means to drive audience engagement. Obviously, they fell flat on their ass with that because they spent so much time on trying to capture all this sort of like natural intrigue that they ended up just not creating a game, basically. And on the opposite end of that spectrum, we see how it works too well, to where now that a lot more people, and maybe, you know, quote unquote everybody, is sort of making games with that at least partially in mind, we have a larger expectation that, you know, any new medium that comes out already has this ingrained, built-in level of expansiveness in its lore that's designed to try to cater to that audience, and build a larger world or a larger universe, when sometimes an open and shut story is just an open and shut story. Like, I feel as if Gooseworks was trying to make a you know, a cinematic universe, she probably would be able to do that, but she's not. She's telling a specific story, and in that sense, the only things that are important are anything that build on the story. And anybody's like, well, it makes the world richer and stuff like that. Yeah, sure. But it's not the world that's the main focus of, like, the Amazing Digital Circus. It's the story and the characters that are being told. There's a difference between narratives that are world focused and narratives that are character focused. And the character driven narratives, maybe not always, but a lot of the times, are a lot more interesting. I'm gonna take some wood. I leveled up, so I don't have to heal myself. On that, I should probably hotkey some.
I need a fire to keep warm, and the sun goes down.
You got anything? No. Wait, are you talking to me? No. Okay, fair enough.
We don't have the same protection as Foundation.
I gotta hotkey the. I gotta hotkey my stim packs. Oh, they are hotkeyed. Hold on. Okay, so that, and then.
Those raiders come snooping around.
Where's my rat away? There we go. But that's gonna put it. Yeah, that's gonna put it here. I don't want it here. I want it there. There we go. Okay. Rataway. Where's Rataway?
Potential.
There's antibiotics. I don't see Radaway. What the hell? Hmm.
Sometimes the best remedy is a big old s'more.
Top cocktails. No. Hmm. Weird. Maybe it's because it was
It's
already
just about time to eat.
attached. No. Weird. I haven't had to fucking mess with the hotkey setup in a very long time, so I guess I just don't fucking remember how the hotkey system works. God damn it. Fucking do I got worms in my brain or something. What the hell? I was getting a little too deep into the Tron or Soma theory stuff, and was coping about specific evidence prior to the prior to the finale. Yeah, that's fair. Like when Kane said mind files, I coped saying maybe Tron stylized digitalization categories are down to your most important parts of your mind. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. If I remember correctly, I keep a hazmat and diver suit in my guy's inventory. Hotkeyed helped a lot during that one super mutant defense mission where if you deal enough damage, the area is flooded with radiation. Yeah, that was like the new one that they added, right? It happens somewhere down here, doesn't it? Was it here? No, it was somewhere else.
Someday I'll return the favor.
Was it down here? I think it might have been down here somewhere. Oh no, it was in Skyline Valley. Yeah, somewhere down here in Skyline Valley. Yeah. I know. I remember somewhere near Foundation. Yeah, something like that. I remember the area you're talking about now. But yeah, that makes sense. With my main character specifically, not our I almost forgot with Dawson here. He with our main character, with Toshi, he's built to just naturally just like, you know, brush off radiation. So radiation's never really been something that I really focused on because it's literally never been something that is, well, not never, but it's since my more recent build. It hasn't been something that has ever really affected me. Anytime I get Radaway or anything, I just sell that. Was that the 17th clone of Walter? Yes, exactly. Jesse, we have to cook. We have to get to the wayward, Jesse. But yeah, radiation has never been something that I've had to deal with. So radiation or health for like the longest time. I just going through that cave. I'm like running around, taking like the occasional hit every now and then, a lot more actually than I was actually paying attention to. But I just wasn't paying attention to my health. And then when I finally like look down, I'm at like 20% health, and I'm like, oh no, that's bad. I got to do something about that right quick. But then luckily I left, and I guess I discovered the Organ Cave South entrance, and that was just enough to push me into the level up, so I don't have to worry about health for a second. What do you take again? Do you take caps? Yeah, you take caps. Okay, caps. That vending machine takes caps. Caps. I was always interested in doing a flamer character. Oh, God, excuse me. We got an ad starting on Twitch here pretty soon. If you guys on Twitch want to see less ads, consider becoming a member. Boom. I was always interested in doing a flamer character, but the fireman outfit is only available during Halloween or something. A brown fireman's uniform. I don't remember the brown fireman's uniform, but I do remember the specific fireman uniform I want, not the flame breather. I actually was gonna bring that up. Yeah, that's fair. I usually don't go like focus too heavily on like, oh, I need like the outfit specifically for a build. I gotta have that. I usually just focus on like the weapon loadout.
Glad Glad to hear Vault-Tec actually took care
This guy's
of
played
us.
by
You hear the
by,
guy
uh,
right about him just throwing
by Jay
folks to the wolves.
from Jay and Silent Bob.
And a fancy suit. Good luck.
I forget the actor's
That
name.
Smooth little face of yours. You are in good company now. Because around here, we look after one another. Now,
Thanks,
what
gamer.
can I do for you? Allergies. Come on, man, that's a joke. Truth is, I was outside on Doomsday. Now, you see, I drove security, and I was coming back from a pickup in the truck when I feel this rumble, and then quiet. Then a whole lot less quiet. And the truck was hit with this wind, and it was like someone dropped a hurricane on it. I can hear it battering the truck. Bang, 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 like it's got a grudge against it. And then I unlocked the door and into the back, and then bang, I wake up, man, and it's crazy. Somehow, in the back of the truck, alive and kicking. All it cost me was my skin and any opportunity for someone liking me for anything other than my lovely personality. And that was the day I became, well, they call us schools, not the most flattering name, but still beats being vaporized.
The Alpha basically is the character at this point. Yeah, that's fair. That's kind of what Toshi is too. Prior to like my more modern look with the green camo coat and stuff like that, I had I forget the name of the outfit, but it was the one with the like big furry collar and stuff like that. And it became so iconic that I remember somebody just did like a random Fallout 76 related comic and made a character that had like a similar outfit, but then also like the gas mask and then I think a cowboy hat. And I had somebody, I think it was when I was still on Twitter, but I had somebody tag me somewhere. I think it was on Twitter, in that picture. And they were like, thought this was follower Toshi for a second. And I'm like, oh my God, it actually does look really close. But it's crazy to see, to think how some video game, or like some streamers or some content creators or personalities sort of like originally start off as just like a character, and the character themselves is like almost entirely based off of like one specific element of their costume or one identifying element of their outfit. Kevdwit, I think, is much of the same. He's generalized his content a little, or his character design a little bit. But if I remember correctly, the helmet is from I want to say Morrowind. The like orange spiky helmet that he's wearing. I think it's either from Morrowind or it's from Elder Scrolls Online. Like a specific armor, a specific outfit that he had. And it's sort of like carried over and evolved since then to, you know, what he is now, where he still has that iconic endearing helmet, but he's more casualized his character. Which is kind of what I've done with Toshi's outfit, where I still got the road goggles and I still got the gas mask. But it's like those are sort of like the bigger focuses, and then like the outfit I'm wearing specifically is sort of like the secondary point. It's sort of like it backtracks a little bit to Fallout 4 as well, because Fallout 4 I can make a similar-ish look. I would have to get like specific outfit, like ports, to get like the specific gas mask. But like the road goggles, and then there is I think it's actually a rebreather, in the Sim Settlements 2 mod. That's like basically the same thing, just like more tubing or whatever. But the same basic concept applies, you know. Road goggles, some sort of mouth or face covering, and then green, and that's basically Toshi. That's literally my outfit. I surprisingly, you'd be surprised, I didn't exactly put a whole lot of thought into it. I just thought like, oh, cool gas mask, cool goggles, I like green, boom. That's the fit. That's the Toshi drip. A previous name of mine was based specifically on TF2 Pyro, set of cosmetics, and the Home Wrecker Sledgehammer. Yeah. It's fun how we can take like specific designs and be like, boom, like this is the look. like when I was playing The Sims, right? I played Sims 2, Sims 3. I tried playing Sims 4 a little bit, but I just really didn't like it. It felt a lot more constrained. But I had like a specific look for just all of my characters. Like all the characters I played as, I had a specific look that I made for all of my characters. Looking back, it was actually very heavily inspired by my dad. I basically just made all of my characters look like my dad, which at the time when I was playing him, I'm like, you know, 14, 15. I don't think that's a super that's super uncommon. But yeah, looking back and I'm like, wow, I really just did like make my dad in The Sims. But yeah, we fall into like specific design patterns and specific design characteristics for our OCs in a sense. Which I feel maybe that's a much more like just like human mammal brain sort of thing. Hello, Madman. How's it going? What up? What's that?
Listen, I got this plan.
He's got a plan.
You're gonna help me get rich.
Oh fuck! Help him get rich, not us. Him.
Big off the gold rush. They weren't the prospectors. They were the folks that sold them their shovels. Now, I don't do shovels. What I collect is knowledge. I can go all sorts of places you folks with your rad-sucking skin can't. So, I'm selling what I've got between my ear holes, and you're gonna test it for me. I made these holotapes. Now, this set's all the info I dug up about that camp doohickey you bolters got. All I'm asking is you give them a listen and let me know what you think.
Okay.
You will? Oh, thank you. I mean, thanks. Just come back once you've taken them out for a test drive. Now,
having a train station game was pretty fun for a while. That was my own. That was my first, the first 76er. Yeah, mine was a lot of my my early stuff was
That's the reason you're bringing up the obvious. Look, the world.
What was it?
Real fast.
A lot of mine was like more so focused on setting up a camp near where I could also set up a like some kind of mining outpost. It was always mostly focused on like junk specifically. Like if I could set up a location, I set up a camp somewhere with where I could set down a junk extractor, and I would just have that going. And so it from there would eventually turn into like me trying to figure out like, okay, where do I need to put down to have an overlap for like these three specific kinds of resource. I think concrete was one of them. At one point, wood was one of them. But yeah, little things like that. And what was it? The junkyard outside of Morgantown. That is a I forget the name because they've kind of fallen out in terms of importance. But there's the junkyard here, and then like right here, if I remember, there's another fuck, I can't even remember what it is. There's at least one, probably two extractor locations that you can put down for like pretty useful resources. It was there, and then I had one in the mire. I want to say it was somewhere down here. I think I had one here-ish when I moved into the Savage Divide, but like every in ye olden days, every region I had like a primary camp location, right? There was this one, and then I think I had one down here somewhere. I think I if I remember correctly, I had one here at one point, I think. I can't remember exactly, but there were like different locations. There's a junkyard around here somewhere that has one or two. But yeah, every region had like the best location for like a specific resource or like a specific grouping of resources. I know somewhere up here there's a There's a really good copper mine. And then something else. I can't remember. I know I have like a primary house built up here somewhere. But I don't use it as much anymore. I use the one down here. Yeah. That's where my other base is. But yeah, those kinds of locations aren't as important anymore. It's now it's all about like vibes, because you can get like any resources you need. You can get like almost anywhere. Like it's not difficult to get resources anymore. Even like the last like holdout location, the munitions factory up here, even that the munitions factory like back in the day was like the most contested location in the entire game. Like any server you went into, 9 times out of 10, it was going to be occupied. Like somebody would have had it, because it's just such a strong location. You get free ammo out of it, and for like it's not like any ammo, but like specific kinds of ammo. It was huge. It was ginormous. It was a massive net gain. But now it's not as important anymore. Mort's edutape. Where was it? It was the C. There we go. Yeah, okay, there we go. Perfect. Okay, let's see what's it say. Build a weapons workbench. Okay. So this is mostly like saying like, okay, you build your first camp now. I think I should be able to. Now I have to remember how to. There we go. Move camp. I'm like, okay, fuck. Now I have to remember how to actually place down a camp. Another thing I haven't done in forever. I have like 2 docks, very top left river in the lake next to the power plant and the mire, and had good spots scouted out in the bottom right in Cranberry Bog. Yeah, like I said, like strategically, as far as like resource maximization, there's a lot of there's a lot of just like in general like good places to set up. But in terms of like the best location, like yeah, there's like a few specifically like really good locations. But ever since the game kind of again became a little bit easier, so camps, yeah, I'll put that in. Yeah. Yeah, just because it includes throwing weapons, why not? Yeah, there's not as big of a focus on there we go, on those types of camps. It's all more aesthetic focus, since again it's so easy to find resources, or to get resources rather. Move camp.
Animals, haywire bosses. No people so far. We have to be ready to rebuild in what I can confirm is hostile territory. Fortunately, Vault Tech was prepared.
Vault Tech was prepared. Oh no, okay. I was like, was that it? Is that the end of the tape? All I needed was water for crafting beer. Yeah, exactly. Like beer, and then like Nuka Schmeckles.
To try to find out where I've gone.
I'm gonna join up and take on the wasteland.
But I'm glad you did. Truth is,
no,
I
okay,
need
cool.
your help.
The Nuka Shine, that was it. I was like, what the fuck's the name? Yeah, like Nuka Shine was a that's one of the things. It's either like Nuka Shine or oh god, there's some other like craftable, farmable consumable that is a very strong focus, or that has a very strong focus on like crafting and whatnot. Like it's something a lot of people, because I always see like locations that just have like a million water going on. Like not as much, but it's still like every once in a while you see somebody who's a bit more of an old head at the game, and it has just like a whole bunch of water collectors.
Once I get my bearings, find me there.
Flatwoods, that's what it was. I was like, what the fuck is this town called? It's Flatwoods.
Gotta wait a whole nother hour for that food to reheat.
God, I fucking remember coming here for the first time. I remember a lot of this game for the first time. It was huge. It was crazy. Just the concept of this game, especially back then when it was all like open fire on everybody and you could like, you know, grease anybody you want. It was nuts. I kind of miss some of those older days. Because I remember spending a lot of time, like, I remember like coming in here specifically. I think I actually avoided the main road altogether and was like sort of like sneaking around and like hugging the walls, because like it still is the case, but more so today. You would hardly see anybody else like on the map, and like the people who you would see on the map are either like incredibly low levels who just aren't, you know, aren't tuned in, like they don't know, like, oh, I should probably like, you know, not be seen by anybody else, or like high levels who are just like, you know, stalking the map, right, just like going around. But like I would be like, you know, sneaking around, be like, okay, and then like, you know, zipping over here, and there's just like any sound that I heard, I would be like, oh fuck, this is it.
It's hard work making a living.
Son of a bitch. Oh fuck. It's funny, I play, like, when this game first dropped, I played it a lot more like Rust than I did just like a regular MMO, which maybe not inherently, but one of the things that I sort of like was expecting out of this game was more of a Rust style experience. Okay, well, he's dead. Where you just had like players who would just like open fire on anybody and everybody, and then just like, you know, take your loot and fucking their benefit, your loss, right? And it wasn't that way for the most part anyway. There still definitely were you know, like trolls and griefers and shit like that, especially around the munitions factory. That's in fact actually how I met Kazdor, the guy my first interviewee on the Adamcast. He fucking griefed me and a friend during when we just kind of accidentally just kind of walked onto the munitions factory grounds one time. But yeah, it I don't know. I like what the game has become since then, but a lot of those like more difficult elements I do kind of miss. They were pretty fun. They were enjoyable in a sense. Not the most balanced thing, not the most player friendly thing, but they were pretty neat. They added depth to the game. I completely forgot that I was supposed to be building a camp. I'm just over here fucking waxing poetic. I'm just fucking strolling down memory lane. Like, all right, Grandpa, we gotta get you back to the home. I remember when you could kill anybody you wanted in Fallout 76. Those were the days. Did you remember to take your medicine today? Yeah, I took my fucking medicine. God damn it, I was fucking getting on my case about my fucking medicine. All right. Most players are either at White Springs, etc., or they're exploring on their own, and it feels like a single player game most of the time. Yeah, it is definitely a lot more of a single player feeling experience. I think part of the reason is because the game is sort of like, in a sense, like mellowed down. Not as many people are playing, and the people who are like currently playing are you know, people who are doing people who are like keeping up with like the dailies and this, that, and the other thing. A lot of the old hats, but also there we go. Which is, where's prefabs? Are there prefabs? No, there's not prefabs. There's just these. Do I have access to my tent? Yes, I do. Okay, so I'll just. But I can't put it at here. All right, that's fine. I'll just kind of put my tent off here a little bit. Walk back down to the location when I need to. Does it have to be way over here? Jesus. Okay. Come on, I had it for a second. Sure. Bloop. Cool. Because the tent is going to be a lot. As a newbie, as a newer player on this specifically, I don't really see getting too big into like, oh, I'm gonna build like a base and get established and stuff like that. This is more so to explore the story and relive the game and the experience. So I think a little camp, a little tent kind of situation is gonna be the best way to go. Man, if they offered, I'd buy a single-player copy of this game. I remember being asked a couple weeks ago whether or not I think Fallout 76 would be. I can't remember if they said better or like enjoyable as a single-player experience. And me personally, I don't think it would. I think that Fallout 76 has been built in so specific of a way, not in the sense like it's intentionally built to not be a single player experience, but more so specifically, it was built as an online multiplayer experience primarily. So to try to retrofit it as a single player experience would sort of dilute a lot of the experiences of the game because of what a multiplayer experience it would be. So like a lot of the events, for example, Invaders from Beyond or any like maybe like the daily ops would still be like semi-viable in like some of the events. But I mean, if you're going in and you're just doing the daily ops or like specific events like solo, they're still probably going to be more like there could be certain situations where they're still doable as like single player missions, but they're not going to feel the same, right? Like taking on the Scorch Beast Queen is supposed to be this whole big like community thing, right? You drop the nuke, you go and you fight the Scorch Queen Beast, and it's this whole big thing. You're fighting with a whole bunch of other people, and it's just this huge big thing. And it's like it's what up YBK Braden Games on TikTok. Thank you for I missed what the specific thing was there, but hello, thank you very much for the donos. Big huge win, dubs in the chat. But yeah, to that point, anything new in 76? So this is a brand new save playthrough. I'm going in and I'm experiencing the game as a new player. Interesting. One of the new things that was different from the first time I played it, is that when you start the game, when you're leaving the vault, you're actually prompted to pick a basically like a starting class in a sense. You're also prompted on whether or not you want to start as a level 2 player or as a level 20 player. Like fast track, like slightly better combat, and like a quicker build. But then you're also prompted, like, do you want to have like a slugger build that's melee focused, or a gunner build that's, firearm focused, or like I forget what the other perk is, but like one that's specifically like more focused on like playing with other people, or like playing as like a medic and stuff like that. Which I thought was kind of cool. It basically just gives you like a free perk card, and then I think like a specific loadout for like weapons and armor and stuff like that. Something to sort of like fast track new players a little bit more, and just like get them straight into the game. Which I think is kind of cool. But I liked a lot more of the just sort of like, you know, the hardcore aspect of it, where you get in, you don't have a lot of health, or not health. You have like a little bit of food, a little bit of medicine, like a basic gun maybe, but then like everything else you sort of have to like figure out for yourself. Now they're just giving you sort of like a starting bundle and stuff like that, which is like, that's cool. That's good. It's not the same. It's not the same. It's not the same. It's not the same sort of like harder experience that I started off on, which, you know, it is what it is. But as far as like Fallout 76 as like a single player game, I don't think it would be as fun. They would have to either do like they would have to either like completely overhaul the entire story experience, or they would have to just like they have to be like, all right, so here's the game as a single player experience. There's going to be some parts of the game that are going to be a lot harder because they're just not balanced for a single player experience. You know, like the Scorch Beast Queen, or like, you know, a lot of the like world bosses, like the big robots that you fight down here in Skyline Valley for that one fight, or the Nuka World. Where is Nuka World down here? It's in Asher. Yeah, it is in the Asher. The Nuka, that big giant, the Ultrasite mole, right? A lot of these like bigger things, they would be a lot harder as a single player experience. So they would either have to, again, tailor the game, take out a lot of those things that are designed specifically to be like in-game server-wide enemies, or they would just have to like leave everything in and just be like, all right, well, there's probably going to be some things that you're not going to be able to actually finish because they're not designed for single player combat. Oh yeah, I gotta go there. But yeah, I just don't think single player Fallout 76 would be inherently better. I think it would be like it wouldn't be good. They would have to, again, either remove a lot of things or just put it out there as is. Almost forgot I have to actually I'm not on my character, so I don't have like huge jumps and jetpacks and shit. I gotta do everything the manual way. Or the Bigfoot and the Blue Devil, Wolf, Nuka World, stuff like that. Yeah. Or like a lot of the stuff in like Atlantic City or the Pit. Like you wouldn't be able to do any of that shit. You could probably do some of the Atlantic City stuff solo as like a high end player. But like a lot of the stuff in like the Pit and some of the other things in Atlantic City and some of the other expeditions, yeah, they just wouldn't work. It wouldn't work out. It wouldn't be fun. It wouldn't be enjoyable, because Fallout 76 intrinsically is built to be a multiplayer experience. And I think trying to retrofit that as a single player experience would either be just not fun, or it would have to be just a massive rework of the entire game. And I don't see Bethesda putting down all this money to basically like remake a game that was so demonstrably criticized when it first came out that it's definitely rebounded since then, but there wouldn't be the same sort of like fan return, right? There's not going to be a massive resurgence of people who are all like, oh, I'm going to pick up Fallout 76 single player edition because I had such fun playing it as a multiplayer experience with different people. Now I want to play it by myself. I don't see that. I don't see that as very likely. There we go. God, I need to just yap more often when I get into combat situations, because I always talk about like, man, I fucking suck at shooting, and then for whatever reason, when I'm just fucking yapping about something else, I turn into fucking John Wick. Like, Jesus Christ. But yeah, maybe I could be wrong. If Fallout 76 ever does drop as a single player experience and it just fucking, super well, you know what? I'll eat crow on that one. I will openly admit that I was wrong, because I'm not fucking out here trying to say like, oh yeah, I'm 100% right on this. It would not be a fun experience. I don't know, because fucking everybody enjoys enjoys different experiences to different degrees. There's some people who play Fallout 76 literally every single day. There's an achievement in the let's see, fucking, where was it? Was it in socials? Somewhere in here there's like a list of like challenges or something. Yeah, here it is, actually, challenges. And like, there's dailies, weeklies, but then there's like character stuff, right? Yeah, right here. Become legendary, reach level 50. I still need to do that, which I've never actually done, because by the time this came out, I was already at level 50. So that's, or over level 50. So that's funny. But like this one, explore Appalachia for 7,600 hours, 7,600 hours. As you can see, I am nowhere close to that. And I've been playing this game on and off since launch 8 years ago. And I have still not even gotten halfway to that. And yet there's some people, that's 3 years worth of playing. 7,600 hours. That's like 3 years of like daily video gaming in Appalachia, in Fallout 76. And there's some people that actually have that that challenge finished, and I think that's crazy. I think that's nuts. Like, huge, fucking, like, good for you. Like, goddamn. But like, holy shit, that's actually bananas. Broadcast tape. That's like next level dedication. That's next level enjoyment. If you're playing the game for that long, you like this, like Fallout 76 is one of your favorite games of all time. And even as a massive Fallout fan, I can't say that even a little bit. Like, I can't even lie and say that shit. You can't even pay me to say that shit. You could probably pay me enough to say that shit, but the average person would not be able to pay me enough to say Fallout 76 is my favorite game. Because it's not. It's not. It's fun. I like it, and I enjoy it, but I don't enjoy it 7,600 hours worth of enjoyment. That's nuts. That's bananas. But some people do. And I can't say for those people specifically that a single player Fallout 76 experience would not be fun. I cannot say that for those people it wouldn't slap or it wouldn't hit different. Maybe it would. Maybe it wouldn't. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of people online, and specifically in like the streaming community and the content creator space, that speak in so many terms of absolutes, right? And it's in some cases, like, yeah, there's a stronger argument to say that the statement that you're putting forward is accurate or is inaccurate. But like, for the most part, like, there's no absolutes, there's no definitives. Your outfit is cool. It's like a sweater vest. He's wearing like an umpire's uniform. Cloth body armor. Hell yeah. But yeah, I don't think a single player Fallout 76 would be good. Yeah, I don't know. Because like you guys had, what do you guys think? Do you think that a single player Fallout 76 would be fun? All right, where is he? There he is. You get over here. You fuck.
Whoa, you're not Crane. What the hell's going on here?
This is an intervention. Your addictions to comic books are hurting those that you love.
Crane found the treasure. Holy shit. Where is he?
He exploded. Your guess is as good as mine. Last place he was spotted was down by this bar by the hill from Vault 76, the Wayward.
Wayward, huh? It might be I pay the place a visit. Appreciate the tip, not Crane. Good luck out here. Duchess at the Wayward. I'll pay them a visit. Thanks again.
Is that what I was supposed to do? Was I supposed to wait to see who the sign draws in? Was that not it? Oh, wait, no. Yeah. I'm looking for like somebody specific. I remember. Because like there's supposed to be like one or two people who show up, and they're all like, "We heard the broadcast," but then like one guy specifically is supposed to show up, and I think that's who I'm waiting for.
Come out wherever you are.
Yep, there's the other guy.
Oh, shit. I've got to get over to... not here. Good luck with those guys.
Hello.
Ukraine? This it?
Ukraine? Better than Russia. But
So, rumor is you've got information our boss wants. You tell me where this treasure is, and he's willing to leave you alone. Scout's honor.
I don't think this man was ever a scout. Maybe I'm out of pocket for saying that, chat. I don't think that this guy was actually in the scouts. You know, I don't. Something about him. I don't think he got any badges. I don't think he did none of that. No, you tell me where your hideout is, or I'll turn you inside out.
What? Sure. Fine. We took over the old West Virginia Lumber Company in the Northwest. Come on. Let's get out of here.
Is there multiples of these guys? Only one guy showed up. Was there supposed to be like two of them? Oh no, yeah, there's the other one. Okay, yeah. Now I'm remembering this because we go up to the lumber company and we find somebody, and they're like associated with the Crater Gang in some form or fashion, if I remember correctly. And then that sort of spins off into what is it? That it sort of spins off into what eventually becomes the heist that we do to get into the gold vault. But we don't do that yet. But it sort of like lays the groundwork for actually getting back into that, if memory serves. Gotta run up here. Welcome to Flatwoods, bitches. Boom. Thought that said subscribe for a second. I was like, wait, what? Subscribe? Do the fucking responders have a YouTube channel now? That's crazy. That's probably one of the things that I would do. Like if I had like a faction-based game, I would have like a YouTube channel for like a specific faction. If there was some sort of like humorous spin I could put on it, right? Like, oh, they're making like, you know, videos trash talking some other faction, or like they're doing like this, that, or the other thing. If there's like a funny spin that I could do on it, that'd be kind of fun.
Overseer's Law, town of Flatwoods. My God, there's no one here.
Now there is.
The old tavern, the church, people were using them for shelter, but they're gone. Mutations we expected, but there's something else. A disease. I was attacked by... Well, it used to be a person, but it had these green, glowing lesions, and its voice... angry, tortured. We are one. One what? Whatever happened here is beyond anything we expected. And we expected a lot.
Well.
Before they were wiped out, the survivors called themselves the Responders. Looks like they were made of firefighters, police, emergency medical staff. They even have an automated system to teach people about treating water, food, survival. I'm doing their tests, and you should too. I know it's even worse than we imagined, but someone's got to know where the missile silos are and how to secure them. The Responders are the best lead we have. This is the Overseer, signing off.
Okay. Some of the holotapes have a weird, a strange cadence about them, to where like part of the dialogue plays and then another part of the dialogue, like there's a long pause. I think it's primarily with like the Overseer's logs for some reason, but yeah, it's kind of weird. Register as a volunteer. I'm gonna register as a volunteer. It's gonna be fantastic. Let's go. Oh wait, I gotta talk to the lady over here. I forgot. Where is she? There she is.
I bet this town was really nice. Are you here for the responder training?
Yes.
Then you're not alone. A lot of people come here because of that radio message.
It's also interesting because like in the like timeline of the game, if I remember correctly, like 2 years are supposed to have passed since the start of the game. Like when the Vault Dwellers in Vault 76 initially leave, by the time we get to the point where we're at here with like the Brotherhood back and the Responders and like going on to expeditions with like to the pit and what is it, the pit and the
robots and all the machines and having everything you need.
Wow, to Atlantic City and stuff like that. It's supposed to be like 2 years after that happened, so it's kind of funny seeing like going back and playing it and doing all of the stuff with like hearing all the stuff that the Overseer talks about, especially with like Flatwood specifically, where like you get there and it's like, oh, like there's nobody here, everybody's gone. But then we get here and there's like, it's not a huge presence, but there's a presence. There's like a small presence of, people who have returned because they're like returning to Appalachia and stuff. And I guess the natural is like, oh, it's like at the point where you enter the game, the Overseer had probably like, already left the vault like maybe a month or two prior, which even by the time of the when the game first launched, I think that was the case. I think the Overseer had left like maybe a month or like a couple weeks before us. So, it's probably the case where it's quote unquote excusable, because they're able to say like, oh, like, the Overseer got here and there was nobody here. But then between when you left and when the Overseer left and between when you left, there was a bit of a time gap. So during that time gap, people returned to Appalachia. And it's like, yeah, all right, I guess that kind of makes sense.
It's a hell of a dangerous trip trying to get there. I barely made it out of the mountains alive. If I were you, I'd keep to the forest until you're ready to deal with some seriously nasty stuff.
Tell me about Paige.
He's the closest Foundation has to a leader, I guess. I never got to know him real well, but he always seemed like a decent guy. Honest, reliable, cares about the people, that kind of stuff.
Something else I'd like to know about.
Okay, what is it?
Where's my dad? Where's the Responder outfit? Or what's with?
In one of the houses. It fits great, and it's really comfortable and pretty durable, too. I'd also be lying if I said it didn't have some sentimental value for me. I've admired the Responders ever since I first heard about them. what they stood for, helping people no matter what. That was really important.
Anything interesting you can tell me about the area?
Yeah, there's a couple of places around here that qualify as interesting. At least to me. The Agricultural Research Center is infested with feral ghouls and homicidal robots. But you can find some good scrap in there if you're up to it. The New River Gorge Resort to the east is the same story. Maybe, minus the robots.
Thank you for your time.
No problem.
Hello, puppy dog. Mwah. Chloe.
Chloe's my pet.
Oh
Or
my God.
her.
Somebody new.
Sure.
I can't read their name. They're moving around too much. And my eyeballs don't work good. Okay, so there was the register to volunteer stuff. There was somebody like outside around here, like some lady hanging around the outside of the house. Oh wait. Is that one place? I don't think it is. No, I think that is. I don't think I want to go there just yet. Let's do 23 skidoo. God, it is dark. Oh, I can level up. I missed that. Whoa. Player combat is now available. Oh, wait. Player combat's level 5, isn't it? I'm only at level 3. Maybe I'm not. Teammate, event mate, allies, strangers, enemies. All right. Let's get ability. Okay, so that's maxed. Let's see. What's this? Volley bow 20. What'd that say? Volley bow. Automatically use one stim pack every 20 seconds. Do I have that on my original build? I don't think I do. Let's see. Strength. Plus 25% range damage to cripple targets. I think I might go with that. Yeah. Easy target. Oop. Yeah. 5% chance to evade while sprinting. Yeah, I don't think I have that as. I know I don't have that as my on my base character, but I know I definitely have it. Fuck, there's another version. There's a version that's like that, but it's like when you're standing still. I can't remember the name, but it's a pretty solid. It's a pretty solid one, but it's more of like an agility focused one, and I think we're going to be more of a strength focus for this playthrough, because we're still like guns focused, but like I said before, I don't want to focus my character too much into like a heavy gun sort of user. So we'll probably go with like maybe, I don't know, maybe shotguns, maybe rifles, something like that. Which I actually do this. That's not gonna do. Oh, it did. Sick. So maybe we'll do rifle focus for this one. Either rifle or shotgun, one of those two. The shotgun might be strength, and then rifle is perception, if I remember correctly. We'll probably maybe shotgun. I don't know. We'll see, because I think there's like, I remember there's like specific guns where it's like this technically counts as a shotgun, even though it's like mechanically a rifle, or like vice versa. I can't remember. There's a couple of those like technical things. Of course, I think I'm remembering that mostly from like old Kev Do It videos that are probably no longer relevant or applicable because of all the updates that have been done to the game. But we'll have something. We'll try to make the strongest build that we can, just not a heavy guns build. I want to do something a little different. I want this build, I want this playthrough to be just different enough to be interesting, but not like completely unfamiliar. I think for the right now though, this is gonna be where we wrap up the stream. We're wrapping up like a little bit early, but I got this weekend's just gonna be a full weekend. I'm going and doing an event thing with my family. Which speaking of, happy Juneteenth to everybody. Almost completely spaced it. Happy Juneteenth. Happy Pride Month. Happy Men's Mental Health Month. The Amazing Digital Circus episode 3 is coming out in like an hour and a half, something like that. Just hitting all the bases, covering all the options. Let's see what else. Happy Mailman Appreciation Week. All that stuff. But yeah, a lot of stuff going on. Father's Day is tomorrow too. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. That's what I'm probably going to be ending up doing tomorrow. Spending a little bit of time streaming with you guys and then hanging out with my dad. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good times. Yeah, all this week it's going to be just like early streaming week. We're going to be doing it's 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time today, tomorrow, and Sunday, and then we'll go back to our original streaming time week after. Yeah, that's pretty much it. As far as Fallout Fridays go, we'll probably be sticking with our new run of Fallout 76 for the foreseeable future, at least until we either finish the main story or until address library updates for Fallout 4, and then we'll get back into modding Fallout 4. If that, maybe we'll spin off and do a run of Fallout 3. I don't know. Point is, we have options for Fallout Friday, and for now, we'll be doing a new 76 playthrough. And then for the weekend stream, this weekend I'm not 1,000% sure what I want to do. I've been talking about a Baldur's Gate 3 Iron Man run for a while, so maybe we'll get started on that. But that's also going to be like a really, really long stream. So probably maybe we'll do like a trial run this week. See how it goes. See how people respond to it. And then there's also it's always one of those things where it's like there's a lot of stuff that's like coming out. It's just not out yet. That's good for streaming. But maybe we'll do some more Game Fest demos. Maybe we'll do a playthrough of Astroneer, which is, I've talked about it a couple times on stream, not real frequently though. It's a much smaller game. Sort of a little Minecraft coded. They had a new game come out recently, Star Seekers, I think it's called. And it's getting little bit of mixed reviews because like it's a straight extraction game, and the original game was more of a like it's a like friend slop base builder kind of thing. So it's good, but not. I don't know. People are kind of conflicted of it, but we got options. I just gotta make a decision basically. But for now, I thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed, like, comment, share, subscribe. If you're on YouTube, hit the follow button. If you're on Twitch or on TikTok, we had a lot of TikTok gang show up today. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, tune in every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I do live streams. The hours kind of somewhat change. It's always a little bit reactive to my work schedule. Currently, we're able to do 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. This week it's just an early week because it's kind of a busy week for locals. But yeah, so we'll be back tomorrow, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and we'll either probably be playing like more demos from the Steam Summer Game Fest, or we'll probably be jumping into like a new series. What specifically that's going to be, I don't know. Maybe it'll be Baldur's Gate 3. Maybe I'll just pull the trigger on that one. We'll get in and see how people like that. For now though, thank you so much. We'll be back tomorrow, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. The weekend's here. Let's have fun with it. You guys have a great day. Enjoy the Amazing Digital Circus episode 9, the last act. Have a good day. Eat a good dinner. Go outside. Drink water. Get plenty of sleep because there's a lot of weekend to be had and there's a lot of fun to be enjoyed. All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.